And good evening, and welcome to another episode of Digital Fiasco Live for another lovely Monday night. My name is Dandr0id.
And I am Jack McBastard.
And this is Sackboy.
This is Sackboy.
In his cute little Kratos mug.
It would be great.
What's that?
If we had the chat up.
The chat? Yeah, the chat would be great. I'm sure that they're all, chiming away in there and everything. But yeah.
I'm sure James Marine is selling some unfortunate
He's not allowed to hawk his game anymore.
That's right. We're going to start charging him like some kind of advertising fee or something.
Is the official name of it the Untitled Smartphone Game?
Yes. Like in as much as it actually exists as a product,
Yeah.
which is not at all.
He's hyping it up so that he can get people hooked on a Kickstarter before it's even a thing.
For tax purposes, that's what it's called.
So it's a scheme, is it?
Right, but what it's actually registered to a small offshore shell corporation.
Boy, he's really advanced in this then.
That's true.
All right, do you want to start off by telling us why Sackboy is on the table tonight?
Nope.
No?
I buried it way down in the news. So
oh, okay.
I do not.
All right, well, you'll have to stay tuned to figure out then.
Oh, yes. It'll be like all mysterious and stuff.
All right.
So how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah? Busy weekend?
You know it.
Yeah.
Another convention down, so...
So which one? This was C4, right?
This was C4, so this was the local Winnipeg one.
Ah, there's JS Marine LLC. You don't use your own name? That's a rookie mistake, and you hate to see that.
Yep. Just say withdrawn, and it'll be okay.
No.
But yeah, so it was the local convention. It's the, last big one of the year, so it'll be nice to actually kind of kick back and relax for a bit and have some time to myself. Because the last couple of months has just been utter insanity.
True.
So, but yeah, it was a good time. We had a table there and everything, and so lots of awesome people came by, talked to us, saw a lot of crazy cosplay, and
Jay Tanuki's talking about, I tweeted out the image of the fake random bingo card.
Oh, yes. I
just threw one together with the obvious squares.
Yep.
Not all of them made it on the thing, and of course, discounts. Like, where's Blood Beam? I'm like, dude, that's how a bingo card works.
Give it time. Give it time. It's in there.
Believe me. And, I mean, it's largely dependent on the game we play, whether or not that one will come up anyway. But yeah, you can actually, there was an online random bingo card generator thing that I put together.
And I figured that's what it was because Jay Tanuki had pointed out, it's like, why is this so American looking? And I'm like, it's probably just the generic face of this one that from the website that he used.
There's a bunch of backgrounds. I mean, I could have picked a Halloween-themed one or whatnot, but the American theme, it looked, I don't know, abrasive enough.
Abrasive.
Yeah, it's just like aggressive in your face
like
enough.
Needles in the eyes.
That's kind of how I picture bingo. But anyway, so yeah, not only can you get them randomly printed out in a PDF, you actually you can get them to print them up physically. And you can do like hundreds of the fucking
Oh my
things.
God, yes.
Yeah. So we can actually hand them out to people and number them and stuff. And you're a wiener. Yikes.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do that for an event.
And by the way, for the sake of rules, Jack gets up does not count if I'm just in the chair but leaning over. That does not
it
count.
has to be like offset.
That's right. So that'll be in the official rules. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
It'll have
by
it in
law.
the little square, and then in tiny, tiny little font and brackets, it'll have that part.
If you can read this, you're too close. All right, so C4, big thing. You're done. How much work did you have to do? Like, how many costumes did you put together?
Well, it was the thing is I didn't wear anything there. Of course, it was all about Jay Tanuki because she had the table and everything like that. So,
well, to be fair, she's better looking than you.
I mean, that's a given.
I don't think anyone would pay to see you. Well, actually, no. I take that back. People might pay to see you dress up, but I think that's a whole other career choice.
That's a whole other thing that I'm not ready to get into yet.
Yikes.
But no, it was literally just finishing some stuff up this week for one of her costumes. But outside of that, she had worn stuff that she had worn before because again, it's the end of the con season, so there's no point in building like big grand stuff right for the last show. So yeah, I guess $5 is $5.
That's a good deal at any price. I mean, really. Yeah.
Hard to argue with $5.
Yep.
But yeah, so basically what it comes down to is because I was busy with all that and busy with building stuff during the week, I did not have any time to do any gaming this week, so I'm going a little insane. So I'm going to be really looking forward to sitting down and actually doing some gaming this week.
You are so lucky that I'm up to here with Red Dead Redemption.
Well, I knew that's
don't
how
have
it was
time to
gonna
play
work.
Spider-Man.
What do you want? Oh, yes, that.
Oh, that's a spot.
That's
too.
on the bingo card.
I don't want to give them the satisfaction.
Well, they don't have the bingo card, so don't worry about it.
Oh, well, I mean, they got the one there. They can just play along together. It'll be like Twitch versus Digital
Everyone
Fiasco.
on the same bingo card?
Jack gets up.
Yep, there it goes. Timer's off.
Here's
so
a twofer for you.
Yep.
You guys are already ahead of the game. Good thing this isn't official yet, because Jesus Christ. How are we doing, folks? I mean,
they'd be rolling in it.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few that are like Albel related though, so I think it's more specifically for like a 12-hour stream kind of situation.
Either that, or you'd have to it'd be the viewing week.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Like one per week, and then
because I mean, we could randomly throw in ones there for why would you play that also?
Yeah, turn in your Fiasco coins and.
Or me just losing my shit for at least 2 minutes straight.
Dandr0id loses his shit. Jack takes his glasses off and rubs his eyes in despair. That's a good one for why would you play that? Let me tell you. Christ. Better for a Comic Sans night? Yeah, like Albel is like, one of them says, Albel says you're not wrong.
Yep.
The free space is Albel puns.
I mean, that's a given. He has pun passes for a reason.
Pretty much a given. Either Jack gets up or Albel puns. I mean, that's pretty much every week.
Yep. But yeah, so I didn't get to do any gaming this week.
So no Spider-Man.
Just
how close are you?
What's that on Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Like I literally didn't get to do anything. So I fought like the first like double boss battle. So I still have like a bit at the end. But either way, I know it's not a long game, and I'm not 100%ing it. So it'll definitely be done this week, and then it's on to some other adventure. That's
good because I do have like the heist sitting there waiting for me. By the time I get to it, it'll probably be the second one too.
Well, and like I said, it's you know, with Red Dead and all, I knew that you would be busy. So yeah. Tron, what am I drinking? I am drinking a delicious salted caramel mocha from Starbucks.
Non-corporate sponsorship.
It's you can barely see it.
Corporate non-sponsorship. That was the site. So there you go.
It's
he tricked you into it.
It's the new coffee from mypillow.com.
And I think JS Marine already. If we're actually doing this, JS Marine he did promote his thing for his offshore banking account. So
yes,
that's 4 spaces already. Jesus.
Man, we're just going to get a blackout by the end of the show. And,
that's right.
And Albel isn't even here.
That's right.
He's going to call in with a pun. Oh, Commander Santa's here.
Hey, Commander Santa, how you doing? Yeah, see? I mean, it was amazing. But, you know, like, in the grand scheme of things, I'm still playing Red Dead is all I'm saying.
Yeah, and, okay, so that's what we're getting to.
Yeah.
I knew that me not playing anything this week would just result in more time for you to profess your love to Red Dead Redemption 2. So
appropriate noise.
You had to stay mum on it.
Yes.
But here we go. Lay it on me.
Yes.
What do you got?
For those of you who are wondering, no, I wasn't actually playing nothing last week.
Because Jack's always playing something.
I'm always playing, you know, here and there, time for stuff. I mean, you know, it's my way of avoiding the murder. It dampens the voices in my head a little bit. So,
but so your early Christmas present came along and is it everything you wanted it to be?
Okay, so Red Dead Redemption 2. I've been playing it now for it would have been
96 hours straight.
Basically, like it's been now like about a week and a half. I've been playing it like off and on, and let me tell you, at first, I really liked it, first of all, so let's get that out of the way. Like at first,
that was a given. I don't think it would have been in a situation where you're like, you know what, it wasn't very good.
No, you know, it's just not for me, right? You know me in open world games that with violence. So anyway, so Red Dead Redemption, like Grand Theft Auto, it's very much single person versus the rest of the open world. Grand Theft Auto 5, a little bit of a change up. You had 3 guys, like a good dynamic. That was neat.
Yeah.
In Red Dead Redemption 2, it really changes sort of the feel of the game right from the start because you are already with a group that travels with you.
Okay.
And for the better part of the game, like you're interacting with these people like as you go from place to place to place.
Yeah, so that was kind of the interesting like first part of that is that with Grand Theft Auto 5, the narrative changed because you played multiple different characters that were very well fleshed out and they were very well intertwined in the same storyline. So this one, you're only playing one guy, but you are very interwoven with everything that they're doing in their separate ways, but they're all hanging out with you and doing their own thing.
Right. So right at the beginning, my first thought was, here are this massive group of people. I'm never going to remember who any of these people are. Why am I settled with these guys? I just want to go out and see what the world has to offer. But no, I'm stuck on this fucking mountain and trekking through the snow, and I'm looking for scraps of food so that, you know, Timmy doesn't die. So right at the beginning of the game, I'm like, okay, that's a weird narrative shift. But as the game goes on, and as you get a sense of not only why you're stuck with this camp, but who all of these people are and how they relate to you and the Van der Linde gang in general. Like, they do such an amazing job of building the characters, and you have like I say, like 10 or 15 characters in this camp.
Yeah, and so with that many characters, because typically that pisses me off in a movie when I see that, because you don't have that time to spend with them. But in this one, I guess the question is how much history do you have with them at the start of the game?
Well, that's just it. It does start like in the middle of things. You've just basically come off of a really a job that went sideways very badly in Blackwater.
It was a cougar, wasn't it?
Quite possibly. I'll come back to cougars.
Oh yes, I know. I'm waiting for your cougar.
We have a cougar
time.
section, but oh my god. Anyway, so so basically, you get sort of the pieces of what happened in retrospect, because Dutch is like the leader, right? And he is kind of your Charles Manson / Steve Jobs character, right? So he's like the flawed genius who's at the core. He's the the cult of personality guy, drives everyone forward, keeps everyone safe, picks the next job, etc. He leads. And after the last mission went awry, and a bunch of people died, like 4 people you never meet died. And I don't really care about them. But
it's hard to have a history with them since they're dead at the start.
Right, and so Arthur Morgan as well, it's kind of like I don't have a tie to the main character either. So it's like, okay, who is this character? And you get the sense he is like Dutch's right-hand man, but he's also really like a son. He was like taken in by Dutch. He was taught by Dutch. He was kept safe, brought up, and into this life by him. Same with like John Marston. You were effectively like John Marston's older brother.
Yeah.
So, and Dutch is kind of like your brother-father, if you want to talk like weird down south sort of inbreeding. But
he's a brother,
right? But after the last job, right, Arthur is like, what went wrong? What happened? How did things go so badly sideways? And as you go out, you do a mission with Charles, who's like a Native American guy. He's half black, he's half Native.
Okay.
So he's like out of both worlds in like the white man's world, and they deal with like racism a fair bit in the game as well.
They like to hit on that stuff. They don't shy away from it. So I'm glad that they went there.
Not at all. So so he you go out with him, you go out hunting with him, you go with Hosea, who's like an older man. It's like him and Dutch are like your surrogate parents, and he's like kind of like your what was that guy in The Walking Dead who had the camper?
Oh,
he's kind of like that guy if he wasn't decrepit.
Yeah. No, I remember who. I don't remember what his name is because that's like way back in like season 2 or 3 or whatever.
Healthy dose of dysentery. Nice. Nice. Oh my god. So holiday baking special, that'd be awesome. Anyway, but so you have this older guy, and you picture like the Jack Palance kind of character, but he's like a short older guy, but he's taking you out hunting fucking bear.
Yeah.
And like in the wild, bears are gigantic. So anyway, so these are your 2 parents, and you go out with him. And it's like, what happened? Is Dutch okay? Things are kind of weird. He's been acting strange. He's taking it hard, like these deaths. So these deaths start to weigh on him, and he starts making like more and more desperate moves to kind of stay ahead of the law and move on someplace where they're not going to be constantly pursued. So it informs this whole story as they're driven across the country. They're trying more and more to get ahead of the law, all the things they do, and this group. And as we know, right, from the story in Red Dead Redemption, eventually they fracture, they come apart. Marston like is completely against Bill Williamson and Javier Escuela and Dutch Van der Linde, right? So they are the three antagonists in the first game. And the funny thing is, the great part about this, not only is it, or do you care about the main characters, you care about all the other characters who are your friends, but you see that relationship sort of wither and fragment and come apart, and you see all these people go their separate ways, and it all happens logically, and it so builds out the characters that in the first game, like you don't spend a lot of time even with Abigail or Jack, let alone with the antagonists. It really informs the characters of the first game. It makes the first game better. Yeah. It's kind of like The Godfather 2.
It's, well, that was always the interesting part about this, is that they decided to make it a prequel.
Right.
So I always kind of get sketchier on that, because I'm like, well, you don't necessarily need to tell us all this stuff that happened beforehand.
Right.
But apparently with this, they felt it was necessary. Not only necessary, but it sounds like they nailed it. Like, it really fleshes out the first game then.
But what's great is this camp mechanic. It's the first part of it. The world is less about like your typical open world game, you're the chosen one and you go wherever and you do everything, and it feels like you're the center of this universe.
Yeah.
Whereas this camp mechanic very much removes you from the center of attention. You're not the guy in charge. So there's Dutch, who's leading, and there's you, who's still a respected member of the group, but you're like his right hand. What Dutch says goes, you know, loyalty to Dutch. So when you're going out in the world, right, it very much extends to that as well. Like, you'll walk into conversations that are already going on. You know, you'll get a piece of something that they're talking about. Or in the camp, right, you'll see these two characters walk up and interact with each other based on, like, their past or what's going on currently in the world.
Yeah.
And there'll be whole conversations that take place, like, even out of earshot. You might not even hear the whole thing if you walk away. And stuff will happen, and they'll get into conflict.
Oh, Spock Jr., thank you very much for the follow.
Thank you for that follow.
And welcome to the chat.
Yep. And, Real Chill's back as well.
Oh, Real Chill. Welcome back to the chat.
He's another PSU alumnus. So.
Oh, there we go. So
welcome to the home team, PSU.com. I didn't get the logo in the corner for this week.
It's we'll get on it. We were a little crushed for time this time, but
they've got an okay logo, but they had a really nice logo that they used for their Twitter icon.
Oh yeah.
I really wish you could peel it apart, because you're the graphics guy. If you could peel it apart,
I could probably just rebuild it in Vector or whatever, and we could just have a nice fresh version of it
right in the corner. That'd be nice.
Want to show that love? Nice.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
I bleed blue and I bleed purple, not just for Twitch, but Saints Row.
The Saints.
Yeah. 3rd Street Saints, man. Anyway, represent. So, okay. So you always feel like you're not the center of the world. Stuff goes on all around you. Like, you always saw that in the first game, right? You'd wander up and there'd be like a robbery in progress, or you'd see the aftermath or something.
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's less scripted. Like there was a guy who's like trying to shoe a horse. And the first time I ran up and he said, "Yeah, get away from me." He started firing at me. So, you know, people are all paranoid and shit. The second time I ran up, he was trying to shoot this horse. The horse, like, he like reared and then kicked him in the head.
Oh no. And
I got a free horse. It was a really good horse too. But it's kind of like Spider-Man, right? With the random events.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of different outcomes on the formula. So it's really less scripted and more kind of like variations on a theme.
See, that's awesome, because, typically, like, especially back in the day, because, you know, you didn't have the processing power and the graphics to do a lot of that stuff. So it was kind of like this, like, canned mini mission that just got plunked there or over here on the map, and then you always knew how it would turn out or how to attack it and everything like that. Now with, you know, just better processing power and just more money being put in AAA titles and stuff.
Hashtag free horse.
They have that ability to kind of flesh these out and make them feel more realistic and kind of one-off.
Oh yeah, like, and I think that's what we're gonna see right now. People say the PS2 to PS3 was a big jump, PS3 to PS4 less so, and I disagree. It may be less of a visual improvement, but what you really get is the processing power to do things like levels of detail, and like distance, like you get render distance,
because that's kind of like where we're going now. Because it's less about visual, because we're getting on that kind of cusp of like realistic looking facial animations,
added effects,
and physics and everything like that. But now
improved AI.
Now it's about improving the kind of nuts and bolts of it, which is, I'm all for that, because again, that can really play into how realistic a game feels and plays.
Exactly. And I mean, this, you really see it, like you saw it in games like Uncharted and God of War, and this game, like the level of detail in it is incredible.
Okay, so I want to talk. There's one detail that I have to talk about.
If it's horse testicles,
okay, it has to do with horses, but it does not have to do with their testicles.
Okay, good, because I would not. I've had relatively few male horses.
Horse physics.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Like, I have watched so many GIFs of horse biffing it into trees and stones and everything like that. It is
crazy.
And head-on horse-to-horse collision. I'm like blown away at how real this looks, like a government issue like crash test rating for horses. Like, well, apparently, it's so realistic how they like interact with each other.
Now, apparently they built some kind of large motion capture studio.
They must have,
to capture horse, I want to say, animations.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that the first time I came around a corner and ran smack into a stagecoach, and I went flying, and my horse like crumpled, and they all like tumbled into a massive pile of horse flesh, right? So I'm like in the air, and I'm thinking about this, like, did they actually do horse crash tests?
I could see that because it's either that
I think
or
Peter would have something to say about that.
They like had like a robotic horse that they like threw down a set of stairs and watched how it folded and stuff.
Boston Dynamics. They went and kicked the horse.
Yeah, exactly. They must have had something like that because
that's how Skynet starts.
It's mind-blowing how good the horse physics are in this
game. No horses were harmed during the making of this game, Tron.
I'm sure it's in the credits there somewhere. Like, no animals were harmed during the making of this or whatever.
I'm absolutely sure. But, I mean, all things considered, not just the animations are insane. The level of detail, the behavior. Like, I've gone horseback riding a few times. Like, I'm not, like, a huge horse guy. But, I mean, you know, I've been on them enough that I know sort of the way they move, how you lead them, like when you're turning them and stuff, and how they're steering. Like, you're actually seeing the guys like steering with their knees, like they're moving the reins realistically.
Yeah, they have all the little tiny details like that of how it would happen in the real world. And you
see the muscles are rippling under the flesh, so you see the flesh moving the hair, right? So there's enough detail. You see the hair sliding across their muscles as they flex and move. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I think, again, that's one of those things. It's not so much graphically as in like detail per se, but they have multi-level like horse structures. So they have a musculature underneath the skin, just like when they advanced character models, whereas they used to be polygons that were painted like clothing. They have physical bodies under there, and then the clothing physics takes care of everything on top of it now.
And I mean, realistically, it might just be that they built enough of a ragdoll mechanic that they can do it and it looks realistic, because the movement of it is incredible. Like down to like the horse, like when you pet the horse, or when the horse is upset with you, you know, like just from watching its behavior, or when there's a predator in the area, right?
Yeah, it gets spooked, right?
Yeah, you'll see its nostrils flare and its ears will swivel around, and you'll see it like sort of prancing in place and stuff, and it's like, you know something's up. And when like you piss a horse off, like I accidentally punched my horse.
Oh no.
and he fucking kicked me. It was like I was doing the whole Conan thing, right?
Yeah.
I accidentally hit circle, which is like your melee button, as opposed to triangle, which is your get on the horse.
Oh, Ruchu.
Hey, Ruchu, thank you, sir,
you so much for the cheer.
Thank you for the cheer.
You can run that light for the whole show now.
But you don't have to take our word for it. Anyway, so anyway, I have no idea what I was saying.
You were talking about horses kicking you in the head.
Horse kick. That's why I can't remember. Horse kicked me in the head. So, you know, you can pet the horse, right? And the horse will be like, you know, kind of like this. You know, like, you have to like calm the horse down, and you'll approach it calmly. And you can talk to everyone, right? So the targeting actually affects certain other things in the world, like horses. Yeah. So you calm him down, you pet him till he relaxes. You can brush them to keep them clean. It affects their stats. Okay. Like there are stats for your stamina, your health, and your deadeye.
So wait, there's
horses have stats too.
There are going to be people that are going to play this, and it's going to be Pony Simulator 2018.
Well, let me just stop you there. Yes, there are 19 different breeds of horses, and there are various colorations of horses, and yes, you can change the grooming, so like you can like braid their fucking
hairs. Oh yeah, it actually went that far.
But it's like 5 or 6 different options. You can't change their color. I think you can change the color of their manes.
Yeah.
Like you can.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, Grand Theft Auto, you have your car customization place, so they have a horse customization place.
More importantly, you have a gun customization place.
Yes, I was actually quite interested in this because I didn't know that they were going to have that. So, so is it like a complete teardown? You can change every part of the gun?
Okay, they have different parts for each gun, basically. Certain options are available for certain weapons. So typically you have a longer barrel, you have rifling available, you have different cosmetic options, you have different ammunition options. You can craft ammunition, like some ammunition you actually have to go out and get materials for and make it yourself.
Oh, okay.
So things like incendiary ammo, or you get slugs for your shotgun. You can get what they call split rounds. You're just there with your knife.
Your knife cutting the little X in it.
So that it does a little bit more damage as it, like, you know,
fragments,
mushrooms, sort of like a hollow point. Gold lifer cat. No, gold does not make for a great heat-resistant weapon. It's soft, it melts. Not an ideal mechanic for guns. But anyway, same thing, right? You have all the guns from RDR1 kind of come back. So you have like your pistols. You eventually get like the 2 holsters. You can carry 2 long guns slung over your shoulders. Yeah. But if you want to change your weapons, you have to go back to your horse.
Oh, okay.
So you're not just like swapping stuff
your
out in the field.
saddlebags and everything. Keep all your other stuff.
And he actually like stows it on the saddle and draws another long gun out.
That's awesome.
So it's a little more realistic, but you know.
Now, can I have a horse-mounted Gatling gun?
You cannot.
Damn it!
That is not a thing.
I wanted one so bad.
There are a couple places where you have a wagon-mounted Gatling.
Okay, that's good enough. I'm fine with that.
Yes, but no.
Because they always talk about that this isn't the Old West anymore.
Right.
This is like on the cusp of revolution and everything. So it's like
it's 1899.
Technology's moving along, and towns are becoming bigger and just more advanced.
This is 11 years before the original Red Dead Redemption.
Okay.
So Jack is a young boy. Marston and Abigail are not really together. There's no like electricity or anything, but there's things like, there's trains, there's steamboats, there's steamships on the ocean, obviously. But it's just a little bit before RDR1. But I mean, when you think about it, right? That was like I think 1912 that Red Dead Redemption 1 was like 2 years before the First World War. Like when you think about history, you don't really get the sense
There
of it,
is always that disconnect when you think of like a Western. You always think Western is like way before proper civilization, but no, it was kind of, it was at the same time more or less. It was just that it was far away from everything.
Right. Yeah, like
no Tron, no, that's it's not Damnation. Damnation will never ever be a 10 out of 10 game, no matter how hard you try.
Why? Why steam-powered motorcycle?
Unless he's talking about some other steam-powered motorcycle. That's the only game I know of that has a steam-powered motorcycle in it.
I mean, I would be really surprised if there was another one, but I mean, to be fair, that was the best part of Damnation.
It was. It actually, for a vehicle-based level in a game that's a third-person shooter, they didn't do too bad at that. But I mean,
as a guy who's
compared to the rest.
But as a guy who's played like 100 hours of Red Dead Redemption, I refuse to talk about Damnation now. I absolutely put my foot down.
We snuck in like 10 seconds there.
Damnation should have been on the card too. Bitching about Damnation. Alpha Protocol's there.
Yeah. Oh, I know it is.
That doesn't count. I just mentioned it. Anyway. So, all things considered, it takes some adjustment, but when you get into it, you realize what the game's trying to do. It does it in such a fantastic way. Like, you get into the relationships between these people. They characterize them well. You start to care about them. You talk to them. You do little side missions with them. You start to do favors for them. You see them interact with each other, and you get a sense of who likes who and who doesn't like who.
Now, do you have to judge off of kind of how they're reacting and stuff like that, or do they have like a physical like friend meter or something in your options?
No, there's nothing like that. I mean, you have an honor meter for yourself because it's a mechanic in the game.
Yeah.
Aside from that, no. It's just, you talk to them, you antagonize them, or you greet them. So the system is fairly simple, but it opens it up so much more than like Grand Theft Auto, right? So you can talk your way out of some struggles. Like if someone like starts threatening you, you can like, hey, I'm sorry, and back down and everything's fine. You can de-escalate the situation. Sometimes a guy will be mouthing off to you and you just whip out your gun. He's like, oh, hey, sorry,
What'd you say?
There are a lot of Civil War veterans asking for money, some of which claim to be blind.
Yeah.
You put a gun in their face.
They fess up pretty quick.
You know right quick which ones are faking. I'm just saying.
That's amazing. See, just little bits like that. It's not always about graphics. It's about interaction.
There was a guy on Reddit. Apparently, he shot this shopkeep in the leg to convince him to open the till. Apparently, later on, he came back and he had a wooden leg.
Really?
Apparently.
Oh my god.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past Rockstar to have that level because people do remember you from past things that you've done. If you shoot up a town, like the next time you come in, they're like, "Oh, I don't want any trouble here," or like he might outright say, "Get out of here." If you robbed him before, until you pay off your bounty and time goes by and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
One of the things, speaking of like wooden legs and replacement limbs, there's actual like limb like gibbing in this too.
There is.
I was blown away by that because I saw a gif of a guy just like showing what you can do, and he had a shotgun and there was a dead guy on like this set of stairs that it was like a heist or something like that, and so he's just like, here we go, and he shot him in the head and the head went blat.
Oh yeah.
And then he shot him in both of his arms and they both blew off at the elbow, and he shot him in both his legs and they both like blew wide off. I was just like, holy shit, I can't believe they actually like put that much detail in it, because typically
float him in the ocean, we call that guy Bob.
Don't start. But typically, like in a lot of these games, especially large open world, highly detailed characters and stuff, you're either gonna get like, you'll get realistic damage where when you shoot them in a certain area, that's where you're gonna see the bullet holes and stuff. But more or less, unless you blow them up with a stick of dynamite, they usually don't gib or like blow off limbs and stuff like that.
Aside from the guys being a little bit of bullet sponges, like Uncharted-y levels. which I will ascribe to the guns being primitive themselves. You get some like stupidly impressive animations, like dynamic animations for being shot and blowing off arms and heads.
Do they have the classic where you shoot the guy and he spins and falls over like the fucking banister and everything? Yes!
Off the banister, off a mountaintop.
Classic.
Drops his gun. Although I will admit, I am sorely disappointed. I have not heard one Wilhelm scream.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Not even one.
That sounds like a miss to me, Rockstar. There we go.
I can make my own Wilhelm scream.
Always have that.
Who wins this round, Rockstar? So, I mean...
oh, that would be interesting, Ruru, too. Try kill all the doctors in town and see if the town dies from diseases.
Well, I won't spoil it, but there is like a disease element to the game.
Oh, really?
Which is interesting.
Okay.
I won't spoil it. I also... you saw... I don't know if you saw the video I posted to Twitter. There was a...
was it the bear one?
No, with the house that just randomly blew up.
Oh, no, I didn't see that one.
I was just driving on the plane.
Yep.
You know, fourth or fifth time I'd gone by this particular stretch of land. And just out of the blue, this guy walks by. He's like, morning, morning.
Yeah.
And like 2 seconds later, boom! And there's like this detonation on the horizon, right? And my horse like rears back and nearly throws me. I'm like, what the fuck was that? So I ride up and it's just, this house is like... It's just a hole with like wreckage and
smoking crater.
Yeah, it looks like something like a Wile E. Coyote experiment gone wrong.
Yeah.
There's a big fucking mangled still just hanging out the side of this building that used to be there.
So did you just pull a quick U and you're like, excuse me, sir, come back here.
No, I don't think it had anything to do with the house. He was just a guy that was passing by, but he took off for the horizon. It was like everything was normal and then boom.
As long as he didn't introduce himself as guy incognito, then.
Yeah, Slim Cognito. Yeah, so anyway, I've talked enough about Red Dead Redemption. Everyone knows it's great. You can check out my review on psu.com. I did a rather substantial, lengthy-ass interview on that one. And yeah, I rated it 10 out of 10. You can't go to that. I mean, regardless of what you think of Rockstar and its employment issues, you can't say that the game is not, like, fantastic. So...
yeah, can't wait to check that one out.
I don't know if it's better than the first one, but I think they've included enough of the first one that they could very easily do a remaster.
I would be surprised if they didn't do one at this point.
I mean, it really makes sense now that they've like gone to so much trouble on the sequel to very easily do the second one because they have all the models.
Just add in some of the bits and pieces that they have in the first one now, whatever, and just kind of update it a little, refresh it a little, and modernize it. Yeah.
Oh, but before we stop, the last thing I want to talk about Red Dead Redemption.
Yes.
Is the Cougars.
Yes, please.
Good news and bad news about Cougars.
Okay.
So the good news is that they are significantly less prevalent in the parts of the West that you are for most of the game. That said, the few that I've encountered...
We're carrying knives.
Oh my god. They were like equal parts muscle and murder.
Oh, Real Chill.
Hey, thank you, Real Chill.
Thank you so much for that. There you go.
Oh my god. So yes, the Cougars are so much deadlier now. It is. They're larger. They're they're bigger. Like cougars, you'd hear them and like, oh no, there's a cougar.
Yeah,
I better get out of here. No, it's like you hear a cougar noise, you immediately check to see how much dead eye you have, and that is whether or not you will survive.
Oh, okay. So it's dead eye or you're dead.
It used to be like you first hear the cougar noise, you knew that your horse would get blat, and then you'd maybe take one hit, and then you're dead.
Yeah.
These things would, like, jump on you and, like, bite into your shoulder.
So realistic,
and,
then.
like, knock you to the ground and essentially eat you or break your neck almost instantly. I have died so many times in a fraction of a second from a cougar attack in this game. I mean, it's not like the other game where they were coming out of my saddlebags. It's like...
So maybe they wanted to balance it a little more. They wanted to make it more realistic, so they're not as prevalent, but they are as deadly as they would be in the real world.
You know how in Dead Space 2, like in Dead Space 1, you had the Ishimura, it's like horrible, horrible place.
Yeah.
Ishimura was in Dead Space 2, and you see it, and it's like you're waiting for like half of the time through the level for something to happen, and when it does, predictably, it's terrible.
Yeah, of course.
You have that tension.
Mm-hmm.
That's what like cougars are in Red Dead Redemption 2. They don't happen very often, but when they do, it's so much worse. Oh, yes. So I am still terrified. Terrified of cougars.
Cougars, officially the deadliest animal on the planet.
But that said, just what they're doing with the game, I am so excited for Red Dead Online. Like, Free Roam was amazing. I had a lot of fun with that. GTA Online, I still had a lot of fun with that. But
obviously,
now, like, Wild West heists, like,
train
bank jobs and train jobs. Oh, my God, I'm so excited. The old Greenbridge crew. We're going to get the gang back together and do some heisting on Grand Theft Auto.
Real chill, wrong cougars.
Oh, my God. Yeah, no.
They are just as deadly, though.
Yeah. We haven't seen many of those since they tore down the Palomino Club. And I know that joke won't translate overseas, but it's a cougar bar. Put it together. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So this is Digital Fiasco Live, episode 45 for October the 29th. We are going to talk about all the latest news in PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Switch.
It's okay, you're allowed to say it.
I know, it's psu.com, but we talk about the other ones too. We just like PlayStation a little bit more. Anyway.
A little bit extra.
So what are our picks this week for the disc downloads and DLC?
Okay, this week is pretty slim because, again, Red Dead just cleared the way, last week, so...
Eating their lunch, yeah.
So basically there's a couple indie ones coming out. So one that I'd kind of hinted at last week, we'd talked about with someone in the chat, it was Dream Daddy, the Director's Cut. That still just sounds terrible.
It really does.
But yeah, so it's the...
THQ Nordic did not come up with that name.
It's the all-in digital version available on PS4. So that one is from the Game Grumps Gaming Studios.
Yes.
And yeah, that one's kind of one of those like interactive kind of dating simulators. It's like a graphic novel kind of situation, but you get to make your own dad and you get to date other dads. So it's, yeah, if that's your thing, go for it.
I mean, it's no pigeon dating simulator, but...
I mean, along the same lines. So yeah, you want to date birds, you want to date dads, there's a game for you.
Rule 34, my friend.
And then this one actually, this was one that we saw at E3, and I kind of questioned what it even was, and they kept completely silent on it.
Yay, dad
So
puns.
now maybe I can finally figure out what it is. The Quiet Man.
Oh, yes.
From Squeenix. So I have no idea what it is outside of it. Looked like a murder mystery third-person shooter kind of situation.
Maybe? I had high hopes for it initially, and the more I heard about it, the less excited
Yeah, see, I didn't hear anything about it, so I actually want to figure out what exactly it is, because it did pique my interest, but it was also way back at E3, so I don't know.
That was like E3, was that E3 this year?
I think it was like last year or two, yeah, right? So it's been a long time, and we haven't really heard anything, so... and to those of you that wanted to hear more about loot boxes in the chat there... There's an indie game first-person shooter called Shadow of Loot Box.
I saw that and I thought, oh, fuck, he's going to talk about that.
Yeah, it's more or less just a name drop there, so... There's a neat little indie racer called Super Pixel Racers.
You can always tell a Milford, man.
Super Pixel Racers, so this is kind of like just a little... indie darling 2D pixel racer, like a little rally racer kind of situation. So
reminded me like RC Pro-Am.
Yeah, like a really classic like Nintendo type game like that, but with kind of just the updated graphics. Like they're little pixel cars, but then they have like kind of pixelized, really nice effects for like the smoke and the dust and the all that kind of stuff. So
8-bit racing, so even less fidelity for my crashing. Great.
Hey, maybe you'll get more body damage that way because they can just tear those pixels apart.
Pass.
And then actually a big one that I've been wanting to check out now is Call of Cthulhu, the official video game.
Yes,
so,
an RPG at that.
Yeah, so this was one that kind of came out of nowhere, and it was one of those ones, like I think I talked about this on the show a bit, was I felt really sorry for people that like Cthulhuan lore, and they never get any gaming goodness, basically, outside of like some board games. So it's really nice to see a fully fledged AAA title with Cthulhuan lore in it. So
we just missed getting a code for that one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Very disappointed. I mean, it's not like I don't have enough to deal with right now, but
that's fair.
It would have been nice.
But yeah, it's nice to see. It's a beautiful looking game. Yep. So yeah, if you like Cthulhuan stuff, definitely check that one out.
Yeah, like I've been interested in Cthulhu as a concept, as a story vehicle, ever since like going back to Alone in the Dark, like the original one.
Of course, yes.
On my 386. It was so primitive, but awesome. Still terrifying. Weird Santa guy. Weird LeChuck-looking pirate.
It happens when you deal with sanity meters and darkness and all that kind of.
That's true.
And just squid beasts and stuff.
Squid beasts. Yeah. The sleeper awakes. Okay, so other notable ones, we had Mutant League Football, or sorry, Mutant Football League.
I was going to say.
Very similar, but legally distinct from.
Yes.
Mutant Football League, that's coming for Xbox One and Switch. It's already available for the PS4. It's been out since, I think, January.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that was good. I wanted to play it because of the
I
original.
really heard nothing on it, but because it was kind of an indie one that just kind of flew under the radar, I would still like to check it out because I was a huge fan of the Genesis one. I
got Blood Bowl to keep me busy, so I'm good.
Bit of a different game there, but still same concept.
It's a great game. I love me some Blood Bowl. Transistor's coming out for the Switch on the 1st, which is a great one from...
If you have a Switch, pick it up. Yes. It is an excellent game.
From Supergiant.
Yes.
I almost said Supermassive. Not the same. Supergiant, the guys who did Bastion.
Yeah.
And
if you like Bastion, you will love Transistor, basically, and vice versa.
I kind of like Bastion more because it had like the whole narrator, but the sword is like the narrator in that one. So. Yeah, it's kind of a weird. Anyway, I won't go there. Diablo 3 comes out for the Switch on the 2nd as well.
Yeah, and that was that neat addition where you can play local multiplayer, and so that'll be a good one for Switch owners too.
You can go to psu.com and see what else is coming out this week in the strange and independent variety. We only touch the ones we like to pick. So,
never say that again.
Transistor is an amazing game. I agree. Yeah. I just like Bastion better. It's like one of them's got to be the better one.
You pick your flavor basically. Right. It's kind of like it's the same type of game. It's just one's fantasy, one's sci-fi. So it's like go with whichever one you want to play.
So you're going to notice if you go to psu.com actually that earlier today, me and the managing editor actually contributed on a story on psu.com for a certain situation that's going on Amazon.ca.
Right. One that actually affected you personally.
It did affect me personally. Granted, I had a review copy of the game. If I had not had the review copy of the game, I was just...
Oh, thanks, Tron. I forgot about that. Skyrim is also releasing this week for most microwaves.
Yes. Don't laugh. I mean, after Alexa and the fridge... Like, all bets are off. I expected to see it like Texas Instruments graphing calculator next.
I think it's been done already.
Yeah. So anyway, I was just talking to Miss McBastard earlier today, and I said to myself, I was thinking, I've been on hold with customer service a couple hours few days last week, and I was just thinking to myself, wow, I was just thinking... How angry would I have been had I not had the review copy to play for the last 3 days?
Yeah, of course.
And I started laughing. It's like, wow, I'd be really angry.
I might even be livid.
Wow. Again, it's like, good times. So much murder. But no, like, I would have been extremely upset. So I had this issue. We talked about this a few weeks back. I got an email, like, first week of the month, basically saying, okay, Amazon's not going to have your game by release day. I'm like, okay. That's unusual. And I contact them, and they say, oh, it's a mistake. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay. Everything's fine.
I won't worry about it then.
And I didn't until like a couple of days beforehand where I'm seeing it's still not shipping. And I phoned them up or connected to them on chat. Same thing. Oh, okay. Apparently we're having some delays. It might be a little bit late, but don't worry. It should still be there on the 26th. I'm like, okay. Taking time off, the whole thing. Everything's fine. Okay, fine. So Friday rolls around, and I have the game, but Amazon had no way of knowing that. Had I been your average Joe on the street waiting for Red Dead, I'd taken time off of work, which I had. I was expecting this game for a year and a half, which I was. I would have been livid. So anyway, I contact Amazon, go through a whole rigmarole, deal with customer service, get some kind of restitution. And I'm waiting now, effectively, for them to ship the game. But I've gone on Reddit, and a lot of people have been complaining that Amazon.ca, apparently they have received no stock at all.
Now, this was .ca, though.
.ca. It's very important that that's the case. In Canada, no stock at all for Red Dead Redemption, ostensibly the biggest internet retailer in the world, a major outlet for that, like serving an entire country,
right?
And the biggest game release of... the year, if not the generation. Zero stock, and they knew 3 weeks ahead of time. That raises some flags.
Yeah, obviously.
So, going on Reddit, there were like hundreds of these people saying, "Oh no, I haven't received this either." And the common thread I keep seeing come up over and over again, I pre-booked last year during the E3 discount deal.
Right.
So, for those of you who don't know, Amazon in 2016, 2017 had a deal. You'd save like 30-35% on the game. Back then, games were $59.95 or $64.95.
Exactly.
You know,
oh, that's rude, too.
Max out. Canada's a real country anyway. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't hear you over my healthcare. Anyway, and clean water. So it's like 20 to 25%, or pardon me, 30 to 35% off the game. The games were like, you know, $59.95, $64.95. They would top out at about $69.95, right? The really expensive ones. Nowadays, your base games are like $79.99, and they go up to $99 for like the special editions and things, right? So change in currency, change in like manufacturing costs, it all kind of conspired, you know, currency fluctuations. Now games are more expensive, but Amazon is tied to this $49 deal. So I got Spider-Man for $49 instead of $79. And Red Dead Redemption, I can only imagine how many people pre-booked that.
Oh, of course.
Right? So the popular theory, and I mean, if you're paranoid about it, you wait a couple of days, the sales you lose compared to the pre-bookings that people cancel, you're going to lose some money, but you're going to lose a lot less money, was a popular theory going on.
Right.
Now, I don't know if that's actually the case. I mean, that's just tinfoil hat material. But at the same time, it's a strange sort of confluence of events, right? There's a lot of coincidence there. So anyway, we wrote up that apparently there is a investigation going on with the Competition Bureau of Canada now looking into it for anti-consumer practices.
Well, I mean, and that makes sense too. It's just there's too much going on there to just say, oh, it's just a coincidence, whatever, like that kind of stuff. So,
hey, can you please react to my music video? I'm sorry, Jaco630. Nope. I'm not going to react to your music video.
No, thanks. We're busy.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that's our good friend Jake from the Greenbridge crew. So then I can...
Is he a musician?
No.
No? Okay, well, probably a different Jake then. Anyways,
no.
Yeah, it's just really unfortunate they do that, because didn't fucking Bezos make like $30 billion last year or something like that?
He's right up there, like, with the richest people in the world.
Yeah, like he is, I think he's like the second richest person in the world or something.
Like, Amazon is like one of the highest valuation of companies globally.
Yeah, like it's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. Okay, so you have these thousands and thousands of people that want this, like, you know, discount off it, whatever. Just fucking give it to them. You're a fucking multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, obviously I am biased because I was personally affected by this, but it seems very strange.
Yeah, but there's no bias there, because there are literally hundreds of other people in comments, and then of course thousands others that didn't comment, or they're commenting somewhere else. Like, you know,
they can't write articles
or whatever
on a fucking major video game site.
Exactly. So yeah, it's just it's really shisty.
It definitely has a whiff of malfeasance. I mean, it doesn't pass the smell test, basically. So anyway, I mean, there are high allocation issues they talked about for mom and pop shops, but this isn't a mom and pop shop. This is fucking Amazon.
Oh, and Spock Jr., that game fucking made bank before it was even in existence. Like, it's Rockstar, it's Red Dead.
Right.
That is like guaranteed fucking money in the bank. Like,
and I mean, it'll sell, like, think of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
That's been selling literally for 10 years.
I can go to Steam right now.
Right.
Canadian Steam.
Well, not 10 years, but...
I can go to Canadian Steam right now, and Grand Theft Auto 5, I believe, is still $49.99. And then there's a bunch of DLC on top of that.
Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, I think, in 2012.
Yes, I believe it was 2012. So
6 years.
Yeah.
And it's been selling, like, consistently
there's no game
No.
that is that expensive after 6 years of selling.
Yeah.
But if it keeps making money, it keeps making money.
Right.
So
and Red Dead Online, or pardon me, Grand Theft Auto Online consistently fuels that like, development of further content that they release for free.
It will continue to do that, because there's some people that just don't want to play a Western game, so they will stick with Grand Theft Auto.
And those people,
they might flip-flop between the two of them.
We have a name for those people where I come from. Wrong.
There's some people that just, they want to...
The spittoon.
They want to stick with their cars instead of horses.
If I'd been thinking ahead, I'd have a spittoon sound effect.
That's why you have the board. You can do whatever you want with it.
Missed opportunity. Oh, well.
Tron, that doesn't count. You said it. He didn't.
I didn't say it. And I'm not going to say what's on the thing.
Is that on the bingo card also?
If it's not, it probably should be.
Okay, yeah.
I'm almost certain it was. If not, it might be on one of the squares that didn't make it.
But anyways, what it comes down to is that fucking game was making bank before it even got released. So there's no worries on that.
Let's talk about that for a minute, how popular this game is. First of all, it's a wildly successful game.
I want to see how it stacks up against Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is this blockbuster. It is the hit of like a generation almost now.
Well, I've got some stats for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know it's going to be great. We got the UK sales. We've got some feedback from that. We get those way earlier than like the NPD stuff. Those are like a month late. Apparently, it has more than doubled the original sales for its launch week.
Okay.
So, obviously, the first game was fantastic, but it had a longer tail, right?
Of course.
People were very interested in this. I imagine they would have sold a lot more had Amazon.ca any to sell. But 68% of them sold on the PS4, apparently, compared to the Xbox One's 32%. That's in the UK. Another record they broke, this is interesting. There was a record broken for the number of people who called in sick on Friday.
Oh, yes, of course. So that had to happen.
This is according to a social analytics firm called Physiology, analyzed 800,000 tweets that concluded that 1.5 times more people called in sick for this compared to Call of Duty Black Ops 4. 3 times more than God of War or Spider-Man, and 12 times more than Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Wow.
I mean, that's a weird stat to have at your fingertips, but...
I mean, hey, it's modern day and age.
It's true.
We have those stats now. And that's true, that Spider-Man was a PS4-only title, which, again, makes it that much more impressive that if those numbers stack up to something like a Red Dead, then... that just makes it that much more impressive. So,
PS4 only, and I mean, Spider-Man is great, but it still doesn't have the mass market appeal as that Rockstar game either.
Yeah.
You know?
It does have the mass market appeal of it being a superhero.
Yes.
And being Spider-Man, though.
Also
so
true.
That definitely helps. So
also doesn't hurt that it's really great.
Continue with your stats there.
14,000 Twitter mentions per hour.
Wow.
Yeah. And... just as a side note, they have a companion app as well. It does not run on my tablet. So. I was very disappointed that was the case, because the Metal Gear Solid... Why does
it not run on
the
your...
Galaxy Tab? I guess maybe because it is a tablet, like it runs on phones fine.
Oh, yeah, it might be just designed specifically for phones.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably like something about the aspect ratio or whatever. But yeah, like Metal Gear Solid 5 was indispensable when I was playing the Phantom Pain. Right. I was so looking forward to it.
That was one of those ones that, like, I didn't even know that phone thing existed, and I wish I knew that it did, because it sounded very handy when you're playing it.
So useful, yeah. Well, like, you can't pause when you're in your iDroid, right?
Yeah.
So it was like you can bring in drops, you can call in helicopters while you're running away. It's a whole thing. All right. So, we know why Spyro... Reignited was delayed.
Okay.
And it wasn't that weird download situation which people were talking about.
Well, they were grasping at things, because they were like, why, what? There's no reason for this.
It's a weird inclusion, right? It's not like there's a shortage of space.
No, of course not.
Yeah, and I mean, we know that for a fact now, because there have been several major retailers who have leaked promotional material.
Okay.
There is going to be a Spyro Reignited that is going to be packed in with the Crash Bandicoot trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're going to get both together for a normal game price. You get 6 platinums on a disc for like $70.
That's fucking awesome.
That's
I would
deal.
totally pick that up. Oh, hey, No Beard, welcome to the chat.
Hey, No Beard, how you doing, sir?
Oh, he's still in Minnesota.
Minnesota. I just started watching Fargo too. I watched the first season of Fargo. That was awesome.
Picking up the accent?
Oh, don't you know? No, I'm not. But Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
Yeah, real chill. Yeah, $60. I mean, that's
$60 for both, right?
$10 a game.
It's crazy.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I would totally get that.
I mean, it was the same thing for like the was it like the back when they had the Ratchet and Clank trilogy, they had the Sly trilogy, they had the what's it, the other one, the Jax trilogy.
That's one I really want a remaster of. I hope that's the next one that they do.
They already have that for PS4. Jax?
No, Sly.
Oh, Sly.
I want a Sly Cooper remaster.
I mean, they had the one for PS3, and then they had the Thieves in Time.
I would love to have like it again all on one disc for PS4. That would, and it doesn't need to be you know from the ground up like the other games. I just
Fargo isn't in Minnesota, I know, but it's like no one gives a shit.
It's close enough.
North Dakota, Minnesota. It's okay. The only difference is
when I'm driving from North Dakota to Minnesota, you can't tell the difference.
just wear your cheese head and shut the fuck up.
When you drive out of Manitoba, you know that you left Manitoba.
Well, I mean...
Because shit changes.
You mean the horizon?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're driving west, where it doesn't really for, like, a province or two. Yep. Anyway, doesn't matter. All that matters is, oh, you're buffering like mad. That's because you're actually in North Dakota.
Audio only. Sure, that works. I mean,
there
you
it
get
is.
to still hear our lovely voices.
That's true. You won't get to see our puppet show later, which we were talking about earlier when we were talking about Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, God, no. People don't need to see that.
I'll save the special puppet show for the Ace Combat 7 video that I shared with Captain Quench earlier.
Yeah.
So anyway, November the 13th, it's coming out. It's going to come out both as its own collection and the collection that has both of them. And I mean, it really looks convincing.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you again, Real Chill.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you for that. let me get a sound effect for you. Let's do
pick a random one there. That's a bad
That's
one.
not a great one. How about this one? Well, most
oh,
of these
you know
are,
what?
like,
You know what button we need on there? We need the classic, like, the classic kid cheer and the yay, like the party sound effect.
I was gonna put, actually, Janus Marine had suggested we put the bards from Monty Python.
Oh yes. Oh, okay.
Thank you for that cheer.
Everyone in the chat, if you have any suggestions that you want to hear on our soundboard, just let us know. Yeah, tweet it at us or put it in the chat, and we'll try to get it on there because we do have empty spaces for.
I'm pretty sure our Twitter is gonna come up down here any second. So,
yeah.
All right, so that's gonna be the 13th. And the box art looks legitimate, as does like the press blurb.
It's crunch time now. If there's any issues at this point, they'll be sweating.
And it leaked at a Walmart and a couple other places, so it looks pretty legitimate.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, No Man's Sky has gone the other way, and we have now explored underwater.
Yes, so
No
this
Man's
is
Sky,
the Abyss, right?
That's correct. That update dropped, I think it was just a couple of days ago. Might have been Friday. Explore the terrors of the deep. So yeah, I was trying to think of some like Ed Harris quotes. I do not remember enough
Those are my
about
least
the Abyss.
favorite type of terrors.
Yeah, no, like the whole underwater thing, like playing Subnautica, right?
Subnautica, I can only go like as soon as the light starts disappearing, I'm done. I have to like stay above that. I do not like deep water stuff.
Then you really wouldn't like the huge ass glowy bastards out on the edges of the map, because holy fuck, are they terrifying.
I've seen them because I've watched Let's Plays, but I'm like, I could never play that. That would be a horror game for me.
They're underwater
basically.
cougars.
Yes, basically.
So yeah, but basically it kind of like, except for the depth aspect, because you're not getting like the full Subnautica
yeah,
depths,
you're not going to the center of the planet or anything like that.
But it's like you get like full underwater construction, you get special mining, and you get a bunch of new life and stuff down there.
I have a question about that. So the building blocks that you have on land to build your bases and stuff, are they literally the same ones, but they're just waterproof, or did they actually make underwater themed?
Oh no, there's definitely like domes. There's like brand new parts and materials and stuff. Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah, so No Man's Subnautica basically.
No, actually, I wrote down my notes for this section is No Man's Sea.
Okay, that works too. Whatever pun you want to roll with.
Exactly. So yeah, like Rapture-like structures underwater. There was a bit where he was like mining stuff underwater. There's like a giant clam that he shot to get like a pearl.
Oh, okay.
Then there's like a big pilot fish-looking motherfucker.
Do they have submarines then?
Yes, they do. They have a new vehicle as well. So that's 2 new vehicles they've added recently.
So they have a submarine and a wave runner or something? Or
no, I think it's just a submarine. It like just, but your jetpack, you can get a like underwater. There's new underwater technology, so it works underwater.
Oh, that's awesome!
Right?
I love it.
It's a little bit less safe.
No, obviously.
Yeah, I'm sure they have better like oxygen protection underwater now as well, which you really need. But it looked really cool. Like the visuals were really neat for the underwater stuff. All the life looks far more diverse and like a lot more plant life and stuff underwater. So
yeah.
I mean, they've breathed so much additional play into this game. Like, I liked it originally, even though it was bare bones, and with each update, it's just gotten more and more interesting.
It had a solid skeleton, but there just wasn't that enough content to keep you going. Now they've absolutely hit their stride. Like, this game is full force. Like, you can thoroughly enjoy this in any aspect now.
I would really like to try it out a little bit more multiplayer, but had a lot of fun with it single player. Like, I've now played it more in my post permadeath game than I'd played my original game back when it first came out, which was $100.
And Tron, yes, I believe it's a free update. It's another free update.
It is a free update, yeah. I don't think it has trophies. A lot of the free updates don't come with additional trophies.
Yeah.
Just because there's, like, they're going to do free updates essentially forever. But yeah, like, they did a fair amount of trophies. Hey, Ichigo, how you doing?
Hey, no beard. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's even a few days away from home, and your bed is just the greatest thing on earth when you get home.
must have been insane. Like I saw a lot of videos.
Oh, I followed No Beard on Twitter, and his adventures at TwitchCon seemed quite wild, especially the first day when he had troubles getting in the building because the line was so long.
Yeah. Next year, we should go next year. If we have time.
I would absolutely love to. Yeah, if we can really get deep dive into this and get
if we're not it seems like it fell on the same weekend as Paris Games Week. So
I mean, yeah, you never know.
Pick your battles.
With our
screw France.
With our awesome new partners.
There you go.
Who knows?
No, screw France. I stand by it. It's like the Rowan Atkinson's song. I hate the French. I don't, but it's funny. Rowan Atkinson, he was a comedian.
Oh, I knew he was a comedian. I've just never heard the song before.
It's a funny-ass song, yes. Yeah. He talks about they criticize our food and then they eat crepe. You get it? That's why I hate the French. That's a real deep cut, too, for Rowan Atkinson music. Look it up. I'm sure it's on iTunes.
Yeah, fuck that 4-hour line I stood in. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that's the thing. You're going to get that with really, really big events like that, especially Twitch, because it's the Twitch event, so everybody's there.
And all it stood for, I get it. Anyway.
We have all the sound effects.
Yes, just not a cheering one. Apparently all my sound effects are staunchly negative. All right, so speaking of random game updates, you know what game updated out of the fucking blue last week?
Super Mario
I'll
Odyssey?
give you a hint.
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. October the 25th was Liberty Day.
Liberty Day.
Did you celebrate Liberty Day?
Oh, wait, what is this? No, that's...
Because I have to remind you, the participation in the celebrations is mandatory. Because you have to manage democracy throughout the planet.
Is it Helldivers?
For the glory of Super Earth.
Yes.
Helldivers randomly updated last week.
Like new content?
New content. Free. New and harder enemies. New equipment. And higher difficulties, because that's what Helldivers was missing.
It did not need that.
Yeah, so let me just read off, and that's the best part about this, is the higher difficulty, the names of the difficulties.
Oh, yes.
So on
it goes
top
beyond,
of,
like, crushing and brutal.
Because they'd already added a couple extras. I think Helldive was level... What level is Helldive? Was it level 11 or 12? I think there was one they added after Helldive.
It was top end, though.
Yeah. Like it was like, and then they added one for I think the Inferno update or something. But now they have level 13, which is labeled an exercise in futility. Level 14 is labeled the definition of insanity.
Oh my God.
Right? Which is so apt. And level 15 is just called Inner Circle of Hell.
Wow. All right, well, I guess they're aptly named.
Yep, they cannot tell you that they did not warn you.
Yeah.
Because Helldivers on high levels, like we were on point. Surprisingly, for a group of team-killing bastards, we were on fucking point for Helldivers.
Well, that's the whole thing, is you really learn pretty quick in that there's no dicking around.
No.
Like, if you're a team killer or whatever, you won't have fun with it because you won't get anywhere.
Oh, no. You'll have fun with it as you, say, drop pods on people's heads, or run over them with your mech a lot.
And but as soon as your teammates are dead, then everything just swarms you and kills you instantly.
Yes. Speaking of Jake, anyway, so he was not a welcome.
Yeah, and Sean says, let's be honest here, Helldivers becoming a cakewalk, said nobody ever.
No, absolutely not. But I mean, literally, like, so many times, like, you'd have, like, the mechs. I was, like, on point with the mech. I was a fantastic mech driver, walking backwards, providing cover, navigating shit. And like, the second, of course, Helldivers, there's friendly fire everywhere. Yeah. So it's like you can hit the dirt so that the fire would sweep above you. And it's like everyone was coordinated. It was crazy. And then the drop ship would come in, or a drop pod would come in off target and just slaughter you all.
See, that was always the funny part. I think that was probably like, they were dialing it in when they were building the game, and they were just like, I don't know if it was like a glitch or something, but it always seemed to be slightly off target, left or right or up or down, and they were like, no, just leave it in the game. It'll be more fun that way.
I think that was absolutely intentional, so you could never take anything for granted, because you always had to be wary of everything, especially life-giving things.
Basically, you see that target?
Yep.
Like 20 meters to minimum safe distance.
Yep. So yeah, I'm actually kind of interested in going back, because there's like 3 new enemies that have different abilities and whatnot. So every time they have one of these updates, they add harder and nastier enemies.
Even if that update didn't happen, you could say, hey, let's play some Helldivers, and I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's play some Helldivers.
Yep. And after some swearing, I'm sure we'd get our shit together. So yeah. Oh, apparently Ichigo. Hopefully it was not a closed, not a secret beta, but he got an invite to the closed beta for the Overkill's The Walking Dead, because we played a lot of Payday. It was the same Payday crew that did.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, same Payday crew that did the GTA heist. So we were the heist guys.
Yeah.
So I was kind of curious what Overkill would do with The Walking Dead if it was just going to be like Left 4 Dead. So I'm curious to hear what you had to say about that later. All right, anyway, so yeah, speaking of games coming back from the dead, you know how Alan Wake disappeared off storefronts a while back. There was a big licensing issue, all the licensed musics. I don't know if it was, I don't recall specifically what the licensed musics were, but...
I'm sure just some composer that did a bunch of music for the game.
Oh, no, it was like classic, like actual popular music and stuff.
Oh, okay, so shit that was like playing on a radio or a TV in the background or something like that?
Well, they kind of did that... the thing that Alone in the Dark tried to do with the episodic format, and last time on Alan Wake, like I think some of the intros and outros had some specific popular music in them.
Oh, okay.
I think that was what it was. But anyway, they had been pulled off of storefronts. They came off of GOG. They came off of Steam.
Right.
So good news for all Alan Wake fans. Microsoft has resolved that issue. Those games are now available again for purchase on GOG and on Steam and everywhere else.
Right.
If you've not played Alan Wake, this is one of those things like. At the time, it was exclusive to the Xbox 360. And it's like, and then I played it. It's like, wow, shit, that's a really good game. So go check out Alan Wake. It's available again.
It's available again in its original format, so they didn't have to rip the music from it or anything?
No. All the licenses are still intact, so it's the original version.
Because I've seen some of those things happen like that before. Where
like Grand Theft Auto.
They have to pull a game, and then all of a sudden they have to cut a chunk of the music out.
Like Vice City music, that's heartbreaking.
It really is, because that soundtrack was probably the best soundtrack that they've ever made in any of their games.
Yeah. I was not a big fan of like the Grand Theft Auto 4 soundtrack at all.
It was just very radio. Like there was nothing really spectacular to it.
I don't know. Like I was a big fan of Grand Theft Auto radio in general, and then 4, I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
And then 5,
it might have been just the whole thing of they didn't spend as much money, getting licensing or something like that.
Rockstar didn't spend enough money on their game.
They might have just spent more money on building the actual game. Who knows?
Yep. So Spider-Man. We were talking about Spider-Man earlier. NPD sales for September, since it's a month late. We get NPD sales for North America. Shockingly enough, Spider-Man dominated in September NPD sales.
Yeah, like breaking records left, right, and center.
Right. And the official statement was Marvel Spider-Man achieved the highest launch month dollar sales for any PlayStation exclusive in history, and is the 7th largest launch ever achieved by any game on any PlayStation platform. And that's not first-party games. That's any game.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Especially that it's being done by Insomniac and not a first-party
like
company.
Going up against juggernauts of like Persona and a Final Fantasy game and like all that kind of stuff. Like it's crazy to get those kind of numbers.
A lot of TwitchCon debriefing going on in the chat. So yeah, I mean, it really shows. I hope that Insomniac's success with this and with Ratchet and Clank, which previously had been their most successful game ever,
of course,
that they start working with. I mean, these are Sony exclusive games, effectively. I don't want to see them say, oh, I don't want to do another one, and then Sony has to find another studio.
Yeah, of course.
Because Insomniac, they had a couple of misses recently with Sunset Overdrive was good, but Fuse was, I think that's EA's fault.
Yeah, I think EA just stuck their dick in that pot too much and broke it all.
Overstrike looked fantastic. Fuse, not so much.
EA just went in and said, Overstrike, how about this? And they're like, eh.
So they built Ratchet and Clank. It was amazing. They built a Spider-Man, like that's the first good Spider-Man game you had in 3 generations.
I mean, honestly, they're set. Sony has them on lockdown now. They are going to make Spider-Man 2.
I hope so.
It would be stupid of Sony or either of them to not even consider it.
All I'm saying is bring Ted Price back to the table. And, there was talk for a long time about Insomniac being a first-party studio. And I don't know what happened.
It might even happen after something like this.
Maybe. But, I mean, I think it's more that they don't want to be tied to one company, but I mean, EA didn't do any favors.
Yeah.
Microsoft didn't, blow their skirt up. I don't know. Anyway, speaking of big games, this year, has been stupid for huge games. You think about it, right? We had God of War earlier this year. We had Red Dead Redemption. Obviously, we had what else?
There's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, huge.
Detroit Become Human.
Detroit Become Human.
Yep.
Big game. You know, big names. The biggest one ever for Quantic Dream, right? And their most successful one since Heavy Rain, which I liked, but Detroit was something special. I think a lot of people, it's really captured a lot of people's imaginations.
Clearly, actually, that was something that kind of blew me away. I see tons of cosplayers as androids now.
I think that's also a bit of Brian Deckert's fault, too, because he's the happiest. He's the best fucking ambassador for that game ever,
absolutely.
Right? And, you know, he's on Twitch all the time.
Yeah.
You know, check out Brian Deckert on Twitch. He streams random shit all the time. He played Deus Ex not that long ago.
Oh, really?
It's kind of neat. So,
Commander Sandwich says, with Insomniac working on Oculus and wanting to make VR, they may not go that route. So
we're going to come back to... We have some Oculus news, too.
Oh, okay.
Yes. We're going to talk about that. Anyway,
stay tuned.
Yes. So, Quantic Dream. We had a little bit of a debriefing coming from David Cage talking about Detroit Become Human. And that's kind of why I was talking about the big games this year. Detroit's kind of the one that... It was big, but falls by the wayside because it's not as mainstream as like God of War or anything else.
And Jason Gill said A Way Out.
A Way Out was great too, despite, you know, the main character's gigantic nose. But yeah, fantastic game. Enjoyed that greatly. And hats off to EA for putting money behind that, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, new fact about Detroit Become Human. Here's the thing. Clancy Brown played Hank, right? And Hank, you know, long gray hair, beard, you know, and probably some of the best like facial animations you've seen anywhere.
Yeah,
you know?
Basically ever. Like some of the stuff I've seen from that is just it. Again, it's reaching that kind of uncanny valley where it's just like, oh my god, like this is. I'm basically looking at an actor performing right now.
And I mean, basically, Quantic Dream is right there on the cusp. You think that you get Naughty Dog and you get Santa Monica looking really great, and Quantic Dream does people extraordinarily well. So there's a reason that the characters look that good, and they had some stats about Hank. You know the scene where you're at the Eden Club?
I don't know specific scenes because I haven't played it yet. I've only seen like a couple clips here and there.
Let me come back to that, but Hank himself, his character, his model, at the points in the game where he was close up on his face,
up to the res and
50% of the PlayStation's processing power was used to render his beard.
Oh my god, really?
That is a very weird stat to have at your fingertips.
Beard physics.
Beard physics.
We got horse physics, we got beard physics.
Well, if Detroit Become Human was not G.O.T.Y, it was definitely B.O.T.Y. So, yeah, it was literally, they say, he talked about it. It was... It's so intricate, he says, the polygons and alpha transparency. So it's layer upon layer of transparency, right? And you've seen games where you get like two transparencies. Yeah. Sometimes it interferes and they look weird.
There's clipping and ghosting and stuff like that. It looks a little strange.
And apparently it is a very costly process to not have that happen. And you looked at the flat model of it. It was crazy how many polygons were actually gone into his beard. And it really showed, because that's the most realistic hair I've ever seen since like The Last Guardian, for all the fur on the animal, right, on Trico. So,
Ichigo was asking if we've seen the alternate ending to The Last of Us.
Which one?
I don't recall seeing it. Was this like a canceled ending or something? Or
I do not know. He may just be trolling us.
I don't know. Let us know. Maybe not. Spoil it, but let us know maybe where we could watch it or something. Because I don't recall ever seeing an alternate ending. Because I know that when the game came out and it was official, like it had one ending.
I'm overdue for
people were saying, "Is there another ending? Is there another alternate ending?" And they said, "No, there isn't. That's it."
Speaking of alternate endings, actually, while I'm on topic of Beard of the Year, some alternate takes. You know the scene talking about the Eden Club.
All right, No Beard, have a good night.
Hey, No Beard, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
Everyone check out No Beard, actually, on Twitch. He's one of our brothers from another mother, the Shinzy crew.
There's a reason why he was at TwitchCon.
Yeah, I want to know, actually, I'm kind of wondering if TwitchCon was more or less tiring than our 12-hour stream where we ate tacos.
Well, we'll wait for our Twitch meetup very shortly, and then we'll get to talk to him all about it. 7th or the 9th? I can't remember.
I don't know. Anyway, So he went,
Damon Blade, have a good
hey,
night.
Damon Blade, you're leading too? All of them doubting it, going at once. Anyway, so when he got out of the car, he actually hit his head.
Okay.
And it wasn't a Star Wars joke. It was Clancy Brown actually fucking up.
Oh, yeah?
He hit his head, and everyone actually thought he hurt himself. He's like, it was just him sort of... I don't know if he did it on purpose as like a Star Wars joke, but it was a real thing that happened, and they left it in because it made Hank seem more human.
It just, it was more realistic that way.
So it's kind of funny. Like, just little pieces of post-mortem information about Detroit. Really kind of interesting. Oh, same plane.
Oh, same plane.
Oh,
all right.
Geez.
That makes sense then. All
Sorry,
right, well,
guys.
Enjoy.
That is a heck of a plane.
Yes, James Reed, we know you're still there. Good boy. Sit.
He's still at TwitchCon trying to market the no-name RTS.
He's walking around in an empty expo center. Look at my game, everyone.
Yes, what's it
Come
called?
play it.
I don't know.
It's
All right.
Untitled.
So, speaking of shills, that was a kind of a nice little segue there. You remember Andrzej Sapkowski, Polish author of The Witcher?
Of course,
and
yes.
how
We've talked about him many times.
Right? We've talked about him like in various contexts a couple of times. He is now he sent a demand to CD Projekt Red for the equivalent of $16 million. I don't know what it is in Polish zloty. I don't remember the it's like 400 million or something.
Yeah,
Polish zloty. Anyway, I just found out he sold the rights to the series for less than $10,000.
Right, yeah, because way back when all of this started coming out that he wanted to get more money from them.
I think that's the first time I've actually seen the dollar value.
I think they had it way back then, but it just kind of got buried because it was always about legal battles and stuff. They never really talked about the money again. But yes, it was stupidly low, and that's why people were saying like it kind of sucks, but it's also his own fault. That's what he settled for. That was it. So I mean,
at the same time, like it's been great PR for him, but $10,000 that's got to hurt.
But of course it does. Because I mean, we've seen worse. I mean, there's lots of places out there that sell licensing to different comic books and movies and just different stories and stuff. For like, I sold it for like $60, and all of a sudden they make $1 million movie off of it.
Just ask Harmony Gold about the killer deal they got away with for 30 goddamn years.
Yeah, exactly.
Allegedly. Anyway, so another famous foreign author that I'm had their games or their books made into games is Dmitry Glukhovsky, who's famous for the Metro series, right? So Metro 2033, 2034, and now 35 is another book. Now it's going to be Exodus. The books have diverged from the game series, whereas the first one was pretty much followed the book. He talked about Sapkowski's situation.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting. He says, by the way, also, I don't know if it was, I think it was someone in the chat, someone had mentioned that apparently Polish IP law is more permissive. It's more swayed towards the author.
That was, I believe it was last week when we had talked about it initially. Yeah, they were saying that this might swing a different way just because Polish law is different, and it does tend to sway in the artist's favor.
We'll see. So anyway, apparently the deal for Metro 2033 has been much more lucrative for Glukhovsky. So I think they're going to do like a movie and stuff they talk about too.
Yeah,
so
they haven't been talking about a movie.
Multiple sequels. Of course, X is coming out early next year. I cannot fucking wait. He had an interview with Russian site DTF, and I'm assuming it translates better.
I really hope so.
I'm hoping.
Or it's like one of those things where you just get a normal-ass interview in Playboy magazine.
Yep. So Glukhovsky says, as a gamer himself, he looks up to Sapkowski as an old fool. He says he went on to state the Polish author fucked up, and the reason for his $60 million lawsuit against CD Projekt Red is due to, quote, his wife nagging about it in the evenings, and then he tries to roll it back. That's probably a translation thing. But anyway, he says he concluded that Sapkowski is an ungrateful schmuck, since he wouldn't have had his current Netflix deal without the success of the games. But he does feel bad for him. He says he's just an elderly man. He missed his chance, and well, what can you do? I feel sorry for the man. He questioned the logic of going after CD Projekt Red as well, because it is kind of like biting the hand that feeds him.
Yeah, exactly.
He should not be doing the lawsuit because Netflix can get scared and back out. Netflix does not like legal issues, and that's something I hadn't considered either.
Yeah,
but it's
absolutely.
true, right? He could lose his current deal. It's like the wolf or the dog with two bones?
Yeah,
that's what it is.
It would be absolutely different if they were like, everything was filmed already. Netflix already said, oh, it's coming out X month next year or whatever. That would be a bit of a different situation. But the fact that they're still in those phases of like, this is what you're getting paid. Here's what we're going to do. They could easily just say, nope, sorry, we're not interested anymore. We don't want to deal with this. You
just ask Jeffrey Tambor or Kevin Spacey how willing they are to pull the plug if scandal happens.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You know? That's kind of, I don't know.
So yeah, it's basically, he feels sorry for him because he's old and maybe didn't quite get it, but ultimately, what can you do? You made the deal, the ink is dry, that's it. So
it's unfortunate.
Take your money and run. Netflix is paying him very well, so
and
he's not starving on the street somewhere.
Yeah, and he's going to get residuals, he's going to get royalties off of that.
Exactly. I mean, those are the, that's the type of thing where you just got to sit there and go, oh, I fucked up, but I'll just go swim in my golden pool out back.
Right. All right. So, Pennsylvania House Representative Christopher Quinn.
Okay.
He has proposed a new legislation, September 25th of this year, to put a 10% tax on mature and adults-only games.
Of course, because why not?
With a particular look at violent games. And here's the quote.
Okay.
You braced? Over the past few years, acts of violence in schools seem to be occurring more frequently and with more intensity. From Colorado to Connecticut to most recently in Parkland, Florida, students have experienced unthinkable actions by peers in a place that should promote learning and enrichment, safety, and protection. Because apparently that's somehow the fault of video games. Yeah. Yeah. So it's specifically targeted against game content suitable for those 17 and older that contain violence, sexual content, and language. The law would establish the digital protection for school safety account where that money would go for improving schools. So, okay, yes, it improves schools. Great.
Yep.
But
you know what other money they could put towards improving schools?
Tax guns?
Just legalize marijuana and sell it. Hey, guess what? Canada's going to make over $3 billion next year off of it. So maybe that's a concept instead. Or who knows?
Or tax guns.
Or tax guns, sure.
You know what? Here's the thing.
Why would you tax games? Like, it's...
Well, because everything's to blame except the possibility of talking about gun control.
But here's the concept. Let's tax a game...
Yes.
...that a minor...
Yes.
...at the school where they're going to put money into... can't play anyways because of the rating. How does that fucking add up?
It's just an end run around them trying to legislate games to be, you need to be 18 to buy violent video games. Like, mature, it's the same thing over again, basically.
Taxing it is not going to stop them from fucking playing it.
No.
The parents are going to stop them from fucking playing it. That's the stopgap right there.
Taxing steel isn't gonna hurt China either.
But that's the whole, like, it's...
I don't know.
It's so thinly veiled as bullshit.
It is bullshit.
They want another tax
grab. It's a scapegoat.
Grab.
No, it's a scapegoat and a tax grab. It's mostly a scapegoat.
It's a double-edged scapegoat. It's like a goat with swords tied to its back. Like
a sword that you might use to slice fish. At sashimi. Like a goat of sashimi.
Oh my god. Oh,
goats of sashimi market. Yep. I know, right?
These people just fucking go away already?
So what's great is they're
I have to pay $80 for a game already. Right. Fuck off.
Well, this is Pennsylvania, so it probably won't affect you. And chances are, there's constitutional questions about this as well. Like, there's the back when
you're gonna tax a violent movie now.
Right.
You're gonna tax rap music because it's causing kids to shoot up their school. Like, it's the same old bullshit that we've dealt with for the past fucking 60 years. Oh, music's making the kids go crazy.
Yep. Somewhere Jack Thompson just sat up and went, oh.
Oh, he's been disbarred. He's in his fucking single-room hotel room drinking himself stupid.
You know, that's something.
Withdrawn.
Yeah. Legally, I'm not sure. But that's just the thing. Like, in this day and age, how have we not seen Jack Thompson as, like, Attorney General?
He's been disbarred. No one will listen to him. He's a crackpot.
He's been disbarred in some states. That doesn't mean he's, like, prevented from practicing law everywhere.
He is like Jim the Hammer Shapiro level now. Like,
I miss Jim. I do.
Everybody does. He had the best commercials.
He may have been an SOB, but he was your SOB.
He was everybody's SOB.
But anyway, like they made the talk about the the First Amendment protections that games have, and that's why they threw out the whole have to be adult to buy mature games, etc. It's the same thing for this. Like this is apparently they claim it's unconstitutional. This is coming from the Media Coalition. It's like the super PAC that defends games, like the ESA basically. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. I highly doubt it'll go anywhere because there are so many protections in place, and just again, this is one of those loudmouths that's going to be like, we should do it for the kids, and then
it's a convenient target.
Yeah, it's too thinly veiled. It'll get shot down.
Now I don't usually do this, but I'll give you the title of this next segment because I'm very pleased with myself for this pun.
Yes, because you do title all your segments.
Yes, Oculus Biffed.
Oh my god! All right.
Yeah,
I'll give you that one. That one's good.
Yeah. So there's been some interesting rumors coming out of Facebook. The Oculus co-founder and former CEO... Of course,
for those of you that don't know, Oculus owns Facebook. Yeah.
Or Facebook owns Oculus, right? So Lucky Palmer, he was ousted. The other former CEO, Brendan Iribe, I don't know how you pronounce his name.
Okay.
He just left the company. He was the other co-founder. So it was him and Lucky Palmer. He was leading the development on the new Oculus Rift. So the next generation, like the Rift 2.
Yeah.
So TechCrunch, the site, is now reporting that according to their sources, his departure wasn't exactly amicable, despite what his LinkedIn profile says and all the press releases say. It's due to a fundamental shift in what Facebook wants to do with Oculus and how he had no interest in being part of it. So the reports are that basically Oculus is taking a nod from kind of like what PlayStation is doing. But taking more of a Nintendo approach. Okay. They're targeting like lower spec hardware. They're targeting more experiences, but not reaching for like bleeding edge hardware.
Yeah, because one of the core factors for them is that I've already seen a tech demo of their next headgear, and what it is that they have more advanced controllers. And the headset is a little bit smaller and lighter, but it has better screens on it. But it's also an onboard computer, and it's completely wireless because everything's in the headset. And it has the AR kind of cameras on it and whatnot.
But they want to design software for accessibility, for like a broader appeal, as opposed to like Sony and HTC Vive that are like targeting the upper of the upper game.
Yeah, exactly. Because when it comes to VR, I mean, not only in developing video games, if you aim a little lower, it's of course cheaper. But coming to VR, because it's a newer, type of hardware and everything like that, and because of how VR has to run to make it believable and to not cause motion sickness, it costs extra money to make sure that it runs properly. So a lot of VR titles, they may look great, but when you actually look at hard stats compared to other AAA titles, hang on there a sec.
Easy, buddy.
You'll get your turn. When you look at hard stats compared to normal AAA titles, they really are like night and day. VR titles are much lower band, just because they have to run at crazy fast speeds, and so it's that type of thing. Like, it makes sense that that's the direction that they're going in, especially with an onboard headset now.
My 100 hours of Star Trek Bridge Crew begs to differ.
And that's the thing, is it's a believable experience. But when you look at how everything's laid out, the actual like resolution of everything. If you had a AAA title like on an Xbox or a PS4 where you were literally putting on a screen, it would look way fucking better. It's the believability of being in that environment that helps it.
I'm just hoping that when the next generation hardware comes out, I can come back to that and enjoy it as well.
I really hope so. I want more DLC for it.
Number one. Shut up, Wesley. Why is there no Jack Pun Square? Because I run the show. I get to pun for free.
Yeah, unfortunately, he wrote that into our DF Constitution. So
Also, to be fair, my puns are of a significantly higher quality.
I would disagree with that.
I don't know.
You pull the same puns that Albel would, except you try to do it. You preemptively do them so that he doesn't waste his pun pass.
Yes, but those I do ironically.
Don't get started on that shit.
I used to pun before it was cool. Anyway, so they're looking at like lower fidelity, all-in-one solutions, like we talk about, right? So cheaper hardware, broader market. This is what he says. They have fundamentally different views in the future of Oculus that grew deeper and deeper over time. Apparently, he had no interest in a race to the bottom in terms of VR performance. So here's the rumor that the next generation Rift is canceled.
Really?
Yeah. and they'll be putting out whole other hardware under a different name.
So it's not even going to be like an Oculus headset. Then.
Well, it might be Oculus, but like the brand is still owned by Facebook, so Oculus is like what it's known for. It'll be like Oculus something else.
Yeah.
But it won't be Rift 2. So it makes sense from accessibility standpoint, and you know, because Vive is killing them.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. Like, I don't blame them, because if you take a note out of Nintendo's book, that may be the direction to go. Because if you know, Vive's killing it right now.
Yeah.
So Oculus says, well, let's pull Nintendo, and we'll just make a more accessible thing that people can just throw on, take with them. You know, it's just that much more mobile. And the games will be cheaper. It's cheaper for the people to buy, and then cheaper to develop also. So they'll fill that end of the market, and then Vive will have the high end of the market.
And I think that, you know, a lot of people forget too that Facebook still is a gaming platform, right? And this would, like Microsoft with the Xbox, revitalize Facebook as a gaming platform. You know, back when Farmville was a huge deal, it was a Facebook game that then went independent.
Oh, your puns are leaking into the chat now.
Oh, what happened now?
So Dan's talking about the Oculus Thrift.
Oh. Anyhow. 35 minutes. We're pretty much on time. Okay. A lot of new information about Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Oh, awesome.
I am so goddamn excited for this. The first one was great.
You enjoyed the first one.
The first one was fantastic. Like, from a Dragon Quest perspective, from a Minecraft perspective, a lot of fun. It's like so much nostalgia. Dragon Quest Builders 2, of course, the big difference being, in addition to more content, you get multiplayer. So you get, like, I think it's...
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so it's 1 to 4 people. You can build together.
What an ad.
Yeah. So you can either build online via the internet, or you can invite people to your island, and you can, like, set up permissions so people can't wreck your shit. Or, you know, they can harvest, but they can't build, or they can't destroy.
Yeah, just to set up the checklist as to whatever you want to experience.
Seems
and
pretty
Spock
robust.
Jr. Yeah, I mean, honestly, when Oculus bought, when Facebook bought Oculus initially, that was my first thought, that they were going to make their own version of the cancer that is VR chat.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to do the equivalent of what, like, Gear VR does, like mobile applications, but for a whole platform.
Yeah, because Facebook becomes its own platform. You have gaming, you have chat, you have messaging, you have email, like everything under the sun, and that becomes its own situation. So yeah, I would not be surprised at all. They're going to make something that's mobile, that's cheap, everybody gets it, and then look at that, Facebook's right in your face.
That's friend face. It's like you're putting your face in a pile of germs and come up with all the germs. It's a IT crowd thing. Sorry, I can't think of it. Anyway, up to 4 players, PS4, and Switch, local wireless communication. You can do the 4 people.
Cool.
Which is great. Everyone has their own screen.
Yeah.
I really like that idea. So you get multiplayer settings like bonus chest, permission to build, destruction, sunlight cycle, weather cycle, block item drops, character item drops. These are all like translations from the site, basically. So we got details on everything. You can also there's vehicles in this one, so you can all pile in a vehicle and drive across the terrain and stuff.
That is awesome.
So you can, like, go back and forth from a harvest point back to your main building town.
Oh,
because you're building up your town, right?
Yeah,
Your shopkeepers and crap.
See, I'm so down with that, because it's one thing to sit there and, like, kind of build your own colony by yourself, but if you had, like, 2 or 3 other people hanging out with you, helping you build all that stuff, that's awesome.
Your NPCs in the first game, right? You attract them to the town. They populate your shops, and they offer better stuff to buy. And then they have, like, guards and stuff that defend it at night, because that was the big thing. Like, at night, monsters come out and they're stronger in Dragon Quest. It's the same thing with builders, right? And they come in and they wreck your shit. Kind of like Ark, if you have discount. Like, hey,
I don't think the T-Rexes get stronger at night, though. They go to sleep.
They mostly come at night, mostly. And you can customize your character, gender, and appearance, and so you have, like, you can stand out in multiplayer so everyone looks different and stuff. That's pretty cool.
I'm always down for character customization, too.
Yeah, I would really like... I can't wait to see what Red Dead Online multiplayer customization is going to look like.
I mean,
oh my God.
They did a killer job in Grand Theft Auto 5, so
really?
yeah, I imagine you're going to be able to look like the most stylish cowboy around.
I built several characters just to kind of, you know, it's almost like as many times as I did Saints Row, like various looks and stuff.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, yeah, you take advantage of that. You just make as many as you can and have some fun with it.
All right, so, some quick hits.
Yep.
So let's talk about Sackboy.
Yeah, Sackboy. So, you stuck around this long, you get to know why Sackboy's sitting on the table.
Sackboy here, our good friend from Media Molecule, is officially 10 years old.
Yep.
I believe it was, where was it? October 27th, 2008. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
10 years old for the PS3 that came out. I still remember that.
Great memories. Great memories with that. Really? That was one of those ones that was really unfortunate. It was the type of game and the type of tool that I wish I had 10 years prior.
Oh, yeah.
When I was in, grade school, high school, and I could have given it the attention that it needed. I felt bad when I had like the second and the third game.
Yep.
And I could barely play it because I was so busy with, adult life.
Some of the guys we still play online with actually got quite a big name for themselves building Little Big Planet levels.
Yeah,
and
see, that's what I always wanted to do is that it was... Because when the very first game came out, they touted it as this is a new tool for people that want to get into video game design because they can have these tools and they can play around and they can make these things and share them with everyone and they can make a name for themselves out of building these. I guarantee there have been people hired for jobs in the video game industry because of what they've done with the Little Big Planet games.
Even if it didn't do that, I'm sure it just gave them an interest in programming and development and whatnot.
As it went on, the tools became more in depth and everything. And I mean, with 3, you could... It was crazy. You could make anything as long as you knew how to use the tools. Yeah,
it was definitely definitely had a great look to it, right? Like right from the first one, it looked... I don't know what it was about it. Like, it had such visual fidelity. Like, you could see all the individual stitchings of the characters. The materials all acted differently.
It was all about...
Perfect physics game.
Again, it was one of those ones that gave you an instant feel of nostalgia, even though it was a brand new game. Right. Because it felt like when you were a kid... Yeah. You spilt your toy box out, and you had a bunch of cardboard and tape, and you were making little things and stuff like that. It rung right back to that, and they just nailed it through and through on all the games.
All right, some other quick hits. Speaking of nostalgia, Capcom's announced they're bringing Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil 4 all to the Switch next year. That's awesome.
It is very awesome.
More Resident Evil.
I'm so excited for all these remasters that are coming out of them too.
I mean, the irony of them continuously bringing the series back from the dead is not lost on me. But
of course not.
I'm sure that joke has been made a billion times. Also coming to Switch in 2019, tactical espionage strategy game Phantom Doctrine. The guys who did Hard West. That was the one I was playing on stream a while back. Before I got all the latest AAA games swept me away. So yeah, that was a really good one. That's coming to Switch as well, early 2019. Indie developer Modus Games announced last week they're partnering with Frozen Byte to release a sequel to their popular game series, bringing Trine 4 to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
That's awesome. I hope that 4 is better than 3.
3 was not fantastic.
I love the first two, and then 3 was a big misstep for them, which was really unfortunate, because, those were great games.
That's always a good one for, why would you play that for us to shout at each other?
Yeah, because it's just this beautiful mix of 2D platformer goodness, but, there's that magic physics kind of thing, and there's 3 players in it, which is just such a rare thing to see in a game like that. And I had hours and hours of fun with those ones.
Yeah, and a lot of anger and recriminations as well.
I mean, that too, but that's a given.
Just a note, because last week they started in with Paris Games Week. Days Gone was actually hands-on with 30 demo stations.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, so I guess our worries that they were doing some hardcore retooling are unfounded, because there's no way they would show it to the public if it was if they needed really a lot of balancing or a lot of changes. So it may just be polish or positioning, like something was releasing in its window they wanted to move it out of.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, if they're not kind of 100% behind this one, they want to make sure that window is clear as possible before they send it out to make sure it gets the most sales
when did God of War come out? Because I think they pushed it
March.
I think they pushed it into a more competitive window, honestly.
Oh, really?
I think so. Maybe we're thinking about this the wrong way. Maybe it's they have more confidence in it than we thought.
That's possible too.
I mean
we can really only wait and see at this point.
We'll see. All right, big ticket this week. We don't have a drum roll. Drum rolls are stupid. What will we have? We'll do this.
Just negative sounds.
I know.
We need some positivity on that board.
I think we know what we really use the soundboard for.
It's true. It's true.
For making fun of people. So we finally know what's going to be on the PlayStation Classic.
Yes, I just caught this today, and I have to say it's a pretty good catalog.
Yeah,
definitely a lot on there I thought was going to be on there, because they were very classic PlayStation games.
I mean, there were a lot on here that we named, but some that still surprised me that were actually there. So the PlayStation Classic is coming out December 3rd. It's going to be $100 US. I'm really going to see if we can get our hands on it.
Yeah, I would love to see. I just loved seeing the pictures of it because it's like literally a quarter-size PlayStation.
Yeah, but with the old classic shitty controllers.
Yeah.
God, that's like so much nostalgia and anger at the same time.
I really wish they had an option. Maybe it would come with like one of the classics, and then you could buy a USB official PlayStation like dual analog one.
Yeah. So here's the list. Here's the whole list. So we got Battle Arena to Shinden, which we figured.
Yes.
I don't know. Did they mention that one, or did we just guess?
I think that was one of the ones they mentioned.
Okay. Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy VII, Grand Theft Auto, the original Grand Theft Auto.
The classic one, yes.
Yeah, from DMA.
Yeah.
Intelligent Cube, which is a weird choice, but cool.
It was a fun puzzle game.
It was, but puzzle games aren't really most people's things, but that was a really good one. Jumping Flash.
That was one they announced.
Yeah, that was like one of the launch games.
This was a big get, the next one.
Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid.
Because Konami needed its fucking bequest.
This is the game that sold me on PlayStation when I got to borrow it from my friend. It just blew me away.
I mean, I no hatred towards Metal Gear Solid. It's just Konami. Fucking Konami. Allegedly. Mr. Driller? I don't even know what that is. Is that like Dig Dug? What the hell is Mr. Driller?
A little bit, yeah. It was like a very colorful anime version of that type of game. It was like a little puzzle arcadey kind of thing.
Someone who should be charged with assault. Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. And this was one I would have bet against just because of the recent remake, right?
Yeah, but again, excellent game. Even in its original format, it's still tons of fun.
You know, it's just weird to see that one. Rayman makes sense because that'll be timeless.
Yes,
the design, all those Ubi, like the hand-drawn style of that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I think the original Rayman may have been 3D images that were like flattened to 2D.
I think it was something like that because that was like
Donkey Kong Country?
That was like a real hot ticket at that time to do that style of animation.
2D, 3D. Yeah, I think Resident Evil Director's Cut.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I like that one.
And Revelations Persona, which I had suggested, but I would have bet against. I would have absolutely bet against. Ridge Racer Type 4, that makes sense.
It was like, we knew there was a Ridge Racer on there, we just didn't know which one it was going to be.
I was honestly betting there was going to be a Gran Turismo, like the first or second
Yeah,
Gran
see, that
Turismo.
was one that I thought.
Yeah, and maybe that's not as accessible for some. Like, Ridge Racer is a bit more
definitely an arcade. And that one is not quite first party, but PlayStation was very much known for Ridge Racer. Yeah.
At the time, Namco and Sony had a pretty close relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
They still do, but not as much. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, like Discount will be happy to hear that one.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's one of his favorites.
And here's one that made my heart warm. Siphon Filter.
Siphon Filter.
Keep that love alive. Like, they gotta bring it back, man. They own the license. People still remember and love Siphon Filter.
And a lot of new people are going to get to experience it now that never got to play it.
A lot of people are going to get to tase him until he catches fire.
It's honest. It's Taser Simulator 2018. It's going to be amazing.
Tell the truth. Everybody did it.
Oh, of course.
They knew it. It's just long pig. It's a Zambezi feast. All right. Rainbow Six. That's a weird one.
I think it must have been a hit back in the day.
I know it was good, but the PlayStation port was not fantastic. Like, that's a PC game at the time, years old, that came out for PS1. That's a weird choice.
Well, maybe they cleaned it up a little or something. I don't know.
No, it's going to be like, unless they... No, I think they're all going to run, like, there might be some, like, additional post-processing.
I think they powered it up a little bit just so you don't get a lot of, like, not as much tearing, not as much lag and stuff like that.
I wouldn't count on that too much, though. So Twisted Metal, I think we all expected that. Some people said Twisted Metal 2, but...
I wanted Twisted Metal 2 because that's my favorite, but Twisted Metal 1 being the first one, I mean, it makes sense that it's on there, absolutely.
And I'm so disappointed that the original freaking Warhawk is not on here.
Yeah, I know, but again, I think that one just wasn't as accessible for some people. It was definitely more challenging.
It was a good game. But
you like that one.
Wild Arms made it on there. That's a classic. I honestly, Wild Arms was a better PS1 RPG for me than Final Fantasy VII, and you guys can fight me on that, but Wild Arms was a fantastic and much better game in terms of mechanics and story. Better in story. I said it.
Oh, and James Green is saying Road Trip was better than Twisted Metal.
Road Trip was better
I would say Road Trip was better than Twisted Metal 1, but Twisted Metal 2 was better than Road Trip.
I would say it's better than both, because it was still... I don't remember the name of the company. It was the guys who did Twisted Metal, but they also made it 4-player with the link cable.
Yes.
So we played 4-player Twisted Metal,
again,
basically.
That was that whole setup of craziness of link cables and multiple TVs. And
hey, it was
it was tricky to pull together.
It was already set up for Armored Core, my friend. And we had so much fun with Armored Core.
Of course.
Link cable. So yeah, so first things first. Surprises or disappointments? Like, are there anything on there you didn't think would ever be on there?
I'm a little bit disappointed again that it's Twisted Metal 1 instead of 2, because 2 is my favorite.
Yeah.
I am absolutely shocked that Parappa the Rapper isn't on there, because that was a huge one for PlayStation 1.
Well, it's kind of the same reason I said that Oddworld probably wouldn't be, because they just recently did a remake for Parappa.
Like, I can see why, even though Crash Bandicoot being, you know, PlayStation, like that is PlayStation through and through, they obviously had the trilogy complete remaster and stuff, so that one didn't really need to be on there. But Parappa the Rapper, we did get a remaster, but again, it was just very much a classic PlayStation title in my mind.
True.
So,
it's true.
Another one that we had both said, and I'm still shocked that isn't on there, was Blasto.
Right.
Because that was an original PlayStation one.
I just don't think there's enough love for Blasto anymore. Like,
I don't know, when I think back to like the classic PlayStation 1 commercial that showed, you know, 20 or 30 games firing away and everything, that Blasto was always one that stood out in my mind.
RS Patriots?
And then what was the other the one with the little cave guy, Tobal number 1 or whatever?
Oh no, that was the square one.
Wait, wasn't that
Tomba, you think?
Oh, Tomba, yeah. Yeah, Tomba was
with the pink hair.
Yeah.
It basically looked like, it kind of looked like Wonder Boy, really.
Yeah, a little bit.
Someone was like,
very much that Adventure Island kind of knockoff.
Skirting the edges, Adventure Island knockoff, which was a Wonder Boy knockoff.
I don't know. It's all a mess in my head.
I know what it was.
But yeah, outside of that, I don't know. A lot of those are very classic.
Yeah.
They scream PlayStation to me.
I'm actually surprised, like, in terms of RPGs, like Sony's own game, like Legend of Dragoon.
Yes, actually, that I would have really liked to have that one on there. Yeah, that might have been an issue then.
Yeah. But no Suikoden as well. Like,
yeah, that one too.
That was a big one too.
Ichigo's saying Rainbow Six Patriots.
Rainbow Six Patriots. That makes sense. But that with Patriots,
Ubisoft was making before they scrapped it and made Siege.
Oh, okay. Well, this is that wouldn't have been original.
No. We're talking about the mini PlayStation. Yeah. So yeah, we're talking old, like 96, 97.
So while we're talking to the chat as well, any surprises or disappointments in what they've selected? I'm actually really surprised that I was right about Persona. Like, that is a weird one to choose. That's not a very accessible RPG at all.
Maybe they just wanted that kind of one-off, like, hey, this will be a big get for some of the fans out there.
And I mean, Persona is big, but it's like the original one wasn't super user-friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Oddworld is strange. Beyond the Beyond, Sony, like, released that. That's not on here either for RPGs. So, yeah, I'm honestly really surprised that Grand Theft Auto is on there. That's actually going to be a fun little game to go back to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And just see how far that series has come.
It's true. It's like ridiculous. All right.
Oh, Klonoa.
Klonoa. Yeah. I always get Klonoa mixed up with Phalanx, that Super Nintendo one.
Oh, yes.
It's the one with the weirdest box art ever. It's the guy with the banjo, and it's like a side-scrolling shooting game.
And it's like, what the fuck were they thinking?
Really? Yeah, I don't even know there. But Jesus. All right. So you know what time it is.
Let's do it.
It's time to press select on the options menu. So we have a standard segment of our show called the options menu, and we have a rotating series of topics that we talk about. Today we're going to talk about near misses and second chances. Games that could have been good, but they suck.
Or not even necessarily suck. It's just maybe there's something that stands out where it was
something
just like
that ruins the experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that could have been great if they'd done something a little different. Something that could have been a good game if it wasn't Damnation. You know,
well,
stuff
now
like
that one's bottom of the barrel.
I know.
So.
I mean, it's like low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
All right, and as is tradition, I'm gonna let you go first while I refill my water.
Oh, there we go. Well, Jack gets up, but I mean, he already got up.
Oh
no, this is mid-flight refuel.
This is the mid-flight refuel.
Because you're getting.
You noticed that, right? I made sure.
Yeah, that's it.
Technically, it was for alcohol, but this still counts.
I think any drink that you have during the show.
Correct.
All right. Yeah. So my near miss actually has fairly good ratings and stuff on a lot of the sites, and it was not a fan favorite, but when it came out, a lot of people did enjoy it. It was a bit of a miss for me. What's up, Jack?
No, I just realized I had Thai food in there that I could have eaten.
You can eat it after the show.
There's never food in the studio fridge. So.
Oh, Janus Marine won.
Too late, he already won. Oh, so does everyone have bingo now?
Yeah, apparently. Because they all played off the same card.
Yeah.
They all yell bingo.
It's amazing how that works.
But anyways, yeah, so this one was fairly well received, but I didn't quite get what I wanted out of it. So, you know me, I like racing games.
Yes.
And I like both sim and arcade stuff. So this one definitely leans more on the arcade side. So basically what it is I would call it Mario Kart for adults. So you ever played Split Second before?
The name sounds familiar.
Okay, so basically what this is, again, it's like Mario Kart for adults. So instead of having colorful little cartoony characters in go-karts and you're zipping around and stuff like that, this feels more like an arcade Need for Speed style game, but you have weapons on the track.
Okay.
And they're all like these super sleek, futuristic-looking sports cars and everything.
Cool.
And they have track destruction in it. So the way the mechanic worked was, as you were ripping around the track, you were building up this meter, and when that meter filled up to a certain extent or you went past a certain part of the track, you could trigger events to happen, which would physically change how the track ran.
Oh.
So a building would fall over and it would crush part of the track, so you could either take opponents out by them getting crushed or them running into it, but then that opened up another path where you could turn and drive up the building, and then you would carry on.
Well, that's cool.
So it's very much a kart racer because it's an arcade experience, and they were literally just weapons like question blocks, but they were just like little hologram things that you picked up, like missiles and guns and bombs and stuff like that. But the issue I had with it was I loved the concept, but just when I got my hands on the game, it felt empty for some reason.
Empty?
Yeah, because it felt like when they were making the game, they had a big checklist, and they were like, "Oh, we want destructible environments, we want weapons, we want, you know, arcade handling and everything like that." It felt like they hit all those points, and then nothing in between. Like, I feel like the game is empty outside of just the core mechanics of it.
They check off verticality.
Hey, there's a bit of verticality in it too. Like, there's some like crazy rooftop stuff and everything like that. But yeah, it's just really unfortunate because I love the concept, because I always wanted a, you know, faster, more crazy, like kart racer with like really cool looking cars and everything. And that kind of almost like why I love like Rogue Trip and Twisted Metal and those kind of things. Because you have like these big crazy cars that had like guns strapped to them and everything like that. So this was like a futuristic kind of arcade flashy racer.
Sure.
But it was just really unfortunate because the weapons lacked punch. The animations of like the tracks breaking and everything like that, although a cool concept, they were so like canned in their animation and when you could activate them and stuff like that. So it's like once you really played the game, you could really judge when things were going to happen, how they were going to happen. So it was kind of a bit of one note at that point. It was once you kind of learned the game, that was it. Like it was almost like a non-factor at that point.
Okay.
Outside of maybe just a bunch of really, really pro guys playing together, because then maybe they, you know just when to trigger something or whatever. But yeah, outside of that, like really cool concept, but I just wanted more out of it. I don't even know exactly what it would be. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just the weapons doing more stuff, maybe the animation. And again, it might have just been a straight up limitation of gaming at that time too.
Yeah.
Because now we have such crazy horsepower in our current consoles and PCs that they could have like real active, like physics-based, you know, towers crushing the track and everything like that. And
brings to mind one that I meant to bring up in the last segment. One of the notable omissions from the game was Wipeout.
Yes, Wipeout, of course.
You know, like that was what made me buy the PS1. You're talking about, what was it?
Well, Metal Gear Solid
right.
Yeah, was definitely
years later, right? But Wipeout was a launch game, and when I saw that, it's like, as a big F-Zero fan, I saw this.
Like, just like mind-blowing. It's like, this is next level.
Because up until that point, like, what does a Sony need all of these buttons?
Yeah.
Like 2 buttons on the shoulders?
Yeah.
That's madness.
But then you're like, oh, I get it.
So what you're describing sounds just a lot like Wipeout.
Yeah, like imagine if we had like, you know, a next-gen Wipeout, but it also had track destruction in it.
That would be
But
insane.
like crazy physics-based track destruction.
Fucking insane. Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see why that would be interesting, but it just didn't quite live up to it.
Yeah, but again, it got good ratings. People enjoyed it for what it was, because it was kind of, it was one of those ones we were talking about, or I was talking to my friend about like different variations of like the same game. So Mario Party, if you're looking for like different variations of Mario Party that aren't Mario Party,
right?
This would be one of those ones. Like, oh, if you don't want to play Mario Kart, you can play Split Second because it is kind of a stand-in for it. But it, yeah, it was just missing, you know, something to it, which was really unfortunate because it had a lot of the stuff in the right place. But yeah, I almost wish that they would give that one a second chance. But I think it just wouldn't have done well enough that we would ever get another one.
Jay Tanuki says there's no Silent Hill in the classic either, and I say, fuck you, Konami's got its dollar.
Konami already got, you know, one on there, so...
I'll be right back. Keep talking.
All right. Well, I mean that's basically it. So it's that's my miss. So, and it's really unfortunate. So I hope that we get another one like it, because I do like kart racers. I still like kart racers, but until we get an actual Crash Team Racing remaster, then...
Oh my god. Crash Team Racing, that's another one
that's when I wish that they just tacked on to the end of the trilogy, and they didn't even have to like remaster it from the ground up. Just have it as like
really nice.
Have it as just another game that's on there.
Crash Team Racing 2.
Yeah, it was a really, that was like right at Mario Kart's level there.
Right, I enjoyed it
that one.
Actually more than Mario Kart at the time. So I mean, because it was like next generation at that time, there was no equivalent for Mario Kart.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know. All right.
No Clock Tower either.
Oh, Clock Tower, Scissor Man.
Yeah, that one would have been a good one.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to bring this out as a visual reference because this game, many people, Too Human.
Oh no, not too. Oh, get it away from me.
Too Human for the Xbox 360.
Here, on my phone there.
This was a console exclusive made by Silicon Knights, the guys who did Legacy of Kain. Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, and it's key to say that because it was the Blood Omen part that they really owned, whereas Legacy of Kain kind of, or pardon me, the Legacy of Kain aspect kind of went with Crystal Dynamics. There was a whole legal thing.
And Ichigo apparently remembers playing it.
I'm sure he wakes up at night. So theoretically, the concept sounded interesting because it was like all about...
Yeah, because I actually remember way back when you were talking about this, you were like, this sounds like a really cool game.
It's like... And I'm really pressing my luck because I did not get very far in this game at all, trying to recall what the story was. But it was largely based on Norse mythology, but it was like technological in nature. So it was like a futuristic, but yet still grounded in that kind of drama. So on the face of it, I thought, wow, this sounds like it's going to be interesting. The graphics look good. I like the idea. I think the main character is actually named Baldur.
Probably.
Yes. I mean, you can't really see it.
It went in deep on the lore.
it had kind of a cool armor and shit. So, I mean, it's kind of nifty. So I'm like, okay, this sounds interesting. I'm going to play this game. And holy shit. Like, first of all, the game tanked. It did horribly. Nobody liked this game. I got it off of eBay, I think, for like $10 3 weeks after it was released.
Something 3 weeks after?
I don't know specifically, but it was like very, very quick. Like
that was probably somebody who felt so insulted by it that they were like, just get it out of here.
I'm pretty sure I spent more on postage than I did in the actual game. So, and believe me, I did not have to snipe that option.
And Ichigo in using that right thumbstick.
Right. So, first and foremost, this is in the era where it's standard now at this point. Grand Theft Auto has had 3 iterations. Left controller is your movement, right controller is your camera. That is writ large. That is game law. So Dennis Dyack and Silicon Knights decide, no, we're going to eschew 10 years of video game crafting knowledge, and we're going to
improve the wheel.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to do like a pseudo Resident Evil fixed camera thing, and we're going to have your left stick be your movement, and your right stick is going to be your attack. So you don't press a button to attack.
Yeah.
You have to push in a direction to attack.
You flick that direction to attack in that direction.
Or you like roll in a direction to attack if you want to do a special attack. So you're flicking your controller for precision in a place where you're getting attacked on all sides, but it's still tank controls because you have fixed cameras.
Yeah.
So sometimes we'll like go between cuts in the scenes, and it's like, what direction am I actually moving in? You're not hitting the things. You're not getting the special attacks you want, and it's starting to wear out your right thumb because you're like, you're used to moving a camera, not using it as an attack button, right? So I think I played the game in total for about 20 minutes. And about 15 of that was spite.
You're like, this game isn't going to beat me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm actually hoping that sometime in the future we get around to this on Why Would You Play That? I don't think we'll finish it.
No, that's fine too. I am actually curious. It's just morbidly curious about
is the accurate
how bad this game is. So yeah, it will absolutely make an appearance at some point.
And that's
on
just
Why
the thing.
Would You Play That?
It's kind of like Lair. If they had released a patch that changed the controls
from the motion controls,
right? I guarantee you the game would have jumped 30 or 40 Metacritic points.
Absolutely. That's all I wanted out of that game was because it was almost impossible to play because at the time it looked great and it had a cool idea, but the steering the dragon with the motion controls just completely broke the game.
I mean, the technology wasn't quite there, but even still, like, nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it was in VR.
Maybe. I don't know.
Do Lair 2 in VR, man.
Oh, God.
Get, like, pulling the reins and shit.
Yep.
That would be cool.
Motion sickness abound.
Right? Hey, man, if you can deal with Ace Combats, then Lair will be a cakewalk.
Yep. I'll get to play it in 10-minute segments.
Well, there's only... I found out there's only 3 missions. There's only 3 VR missions. It's not the whole campaign. But still, that's 2 more than Battlefront gave us for the X-Wing.
This is true.
So...
And I'm sure there'll at least be some variation to that, whereas the X-Wing one was very straightforward. You did the exact same thing every time.
Maybe there'll be DLC.
Probably. Probably just depends on how popular it is.
I don't know. Speaking of Ace Combat, while I've got you, did you see I tweeted out on our Twitter page a video about plane customization?
Yes.
And the unlocks for the technology and whatnot?
Very excited for that.
It looks very Metal Gear 5-y.
Again, I'm all for customization, so if they can put any of that in a game, they got me.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can picture it, hear it on the microphones, the sound of my erection knocking the table over from the underside.
As long as you don't knock my mug over, it's all good.
God. I've been looking. I have one of those. Here's the stupid thing. I have those flight sticks, the Thrustmaster ones that are PS4 compatible. I want to get the Ace Combat 7 rounded one to have the 3, right?
You already said you were going to get it, so I mean, I'm not surprised in the slightest.
I don't know how limited they are. It might be Japan only. I don't know.
I'm sure you'll get your hands on it either way.
Man, but yeah, I'm anxious as fuck for that for January. All right, folks, that's our show for this week. If you like what we do, please tell your friends and fellow gamers. Let us know at Twitter at Digital_Fiasco. Give us your thoughts, your feelings. If you don't like what we do, let us know there, because we'd like to hear from you and improve. If there's something you want to see we're not doing, if there's something we do you don't like, or if, you want to hear more about Damnation.
Well, that's too fucking bad, because you ain't going to hear it here.
That's the red line, I'm afraid. Yeah. And you can also, of course, check us out. We have some content and articles at psu.com. That is going to be our new home for new content. We'll be working with those good folks at PlayStation Universe, and they're treating us right. We're going to be playing some Jackbox 5, courtesy of them, sometime in the near future. Maybe on a Wednesday when we get the group together once things calm down. Oh, that would be sweet, yes. Do some... Hopefully, they've finally put in some moderation.
I'm sure that they did, because they're only making it better every time they make a new game.
Really hope so.
Yeah.
Some Jackbox 5 would be pretty amazing.
Yep. And Benito Boomcrash, thank you very much for that. We will keep it up.
Good to see you.
Because we love what we're doing here, and I hope that you guys do too.
Hey, you've been lurking this whole time, man? We got to chime in more. I love to hear from the new people. We got a lot of new people here today, Yeah. I'm hoping we have some PSU crew in there. PSU crew? PSU. Gotta get a better... Sounds vaguely French there. Get a better name for that. But fellow Fiasconauts, doing good. Damnation, man. We had the 5-part series, man. That was a classic. Why would you play that?
Yeah, definitely one of the worst games I've ever played in my entire life.
It definitely holds that. All right. We'd love to hear from you on our Digital Fiasco Twitter. Even if Damnation you thought was a fantastic game. And
there you go.
Human.
He loved your Red Dead review. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Did you check out the whole thing on the site? I wrote probably a 2,000-word essay on the fucking thing. So.
I mean, I'm not surprised in the slightest.
I had to cut it down a little.
Yeah.
I didn't even talk about his journal. I'm going to take 2 minutes at the end of the thing now, because I have 2 minutes left.
You got 2 minutes.
This is the best thing ever. And it's completely... I didn't mention it in the review. I meant to, but there was just so much. Arthur Morgan, from the beginning of the game, he is keeping a handwritten journal. And literally... handwritten, like with handwriting.
Okay, yep.
It's not like somebody with a font.
Yeah.
Somebody actually wrote this out, long form cursive. Everything that happens. So you get his internal monologue. And he writes down all of the missions, all 100+ missions, all the strangers that he meets. He writes them all down. And he's actually drawing in... like Drake does. He draws in pictures of all the animals and all the herbs he picks up, all the like the weird stone carvings that he finds. If he finds a rundown shack that's unusual for some reason, he does a sketch. So it's literally just this constantly evolving journal narrative of your story and all the things he sees and his internal thoughts about it.
That's very cool.
Oh, it's very cool. And it's like, and like each page, like he flips it, it's all like animated. It's like such care went into such a what I would say an unnecessary feature that just adds so much.
Absolutely. I could see that adding a lot to that world.
It does. So you can press left on, you hold left on your D-pad and it brings up his, yeah, left on the D-pad, you hold it down, it brings up his journal, and you can just flip through pages. And if you ever have a thing like, I don't know where I am, you can hear in his words him describe everything. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and like he describes like how Dutch, like how he's changing, how things go out, and the ultimate like confrontation at the end. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Very cool.
I'm not going to spoil anything. But
please don't.
There is an epilogue.
Oh, yeah?
And it lasts like 8 hours.
Holy shit, that's a hell of an epilogue.
So unlike like the whole Jack thing in the first one, and I mean spoilers for Red Dead from 10 damn years ago, but there is a similar kind of thing, and when you think about it, it makes logical sense. Yeah. And it's so incredibly cool what they do, and like the two games fit together like such a perfect bookends, and like the storyline is basically completed now. It's I can't even say enough. Like I had my doubts about the concept of doing a prequel, but they justified its existence and made the first game better.
That's
just
awesome.
Just like the original Godfather and Godfather 2. Having that additional insight made the first movie better.
Sweet.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, I definitely look forward to playing that one.
Yeah.
And yeah, just before we go, Ichigo, yeah, I was reading about that. If they get Tom Hardy to play Sam Fisher, I'm down for that. I mean, wouldn't be my first choice per se, but
as long as they
definitely could have picked I could easily see them as like, yeah, Mark Wahlberg is Sam Fisher.
No, I get something like young John Cena or someone, you know.
Oh god.
I don't know, like someone with the musculature, but no, but
Tom Hardy has better chops.
Tom Hardy,
though,
yeah,
so,
no, he does, he does. Like but
I'm so down
like
for a Splinter
right?
Cell movie. I've always wanted to see a Splinter Cell movie.
As long as they get Michael Ironsides in there somewhere for like fourth echelon.
Oh
like in the
yeah.
somewhere.
Just get him to call the shot on one of the radios or something like that. Absolutely.
Just because
Jim Parsons is Sam Fisher. Oh god.
Hey, you're a day early for that talk, Mister.
Bring that up in chat tomorrow on Comic Sans.
Say that for the Albel Parsons Project on Tuesdays. All right, folks, we got to get out of here. Tomorrow, of course, Comic Sans is back at its regular time, 7 p.m. Central Time. Pretty sure Kelly and Albel.
A little late on the paper landing, but it's all good.
The director was always late with the cards on the Letterman show,
true.
So I think it's just important. So anyway, Comic Sans will be back tomorrow. Hopefully they're going to be talking about the third season of Daredevil. I have now seen the third season of Daredevil.
And I hear it's the greatest thing ever.
It is so much better than the second season. Yeah. Like, it justifies, and I mean, D'Onofrio, like, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
It was really good. Well, he becomes Bullseye, right? I think the guy, or Deadshot's the other guy.
Yeah,
Deadshot's is DC.
Yeah,
that's, sorry, I'm thinking Arrow, or Arrow or Suicide Squad. But yeah, no, the third season of Daredevil is fantastic. It's amazing. So yeah, hopefully they'll be talking about that tomorrow. If not, I'm going to spoil the shit out of it.
But yeah, and especially you, Benito Boom Crash, we're here from 8 to 10 Central every Monday. So yeah, come check out the whole show next Monday.
Thanks, Benito. You're my favorite fascist dictator.
Do you know he's a fashion dictator?
I mean, with a name like Benito, he's not like a flower arranger. You know, he's not here to take my picture, I'm sure. In any case, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with Comic Sans, and this week is the off week for the Player's Guide. So Wednesday there will be nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do. It's not that far.
What's that? To Why Would You Play That?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's next week.
I know. I need to know.
Don't get too excited. I know
it's not exciting.
You're really raring to go on the cartel again.
No, I gotta like lay in some supplies to get really, really drunk that day. October, November, November the 8th.
Oh, 8th?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like next Thursday.
Yep.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Yep. So get yourself prepared for that. So the triumphant return of Why Would You Play That? You get to see Jack suffer through more of the Culver's the cartel.
I've got to go to like howlongtobeat.com. I need a fucking count.
Yep.
This is gonna be.
We'll do it on that show though, because it'll be a surprise.
I'll get back to you. All right, folks. Thank you very much for watching. All the new people, thank you very much for watching us. If you haven't already, please follow us on Twitter so you can be notified when we go live. You can follow us on Twitter so we can.
We also notify you when we go live on PSU.com.
Yes, PSU.com. All right. Have a good night, folks. We are Digital Fiasco. I'm... got our Chirons out. I am Jack McBastard.
And I'm Dandr0id.
And we will see you guys next week.
Have a good night.
Except the Chirons take 10 seconds. There we go. Have a good night, folks.